Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Good afternoon and welcome to Hangin with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. If you're listening with us, 11:30 The Tiger in Shreveport. You're watching with us on CST or on our YouTube channel, 104.5 ESPN. Welcome in. I'm Charles Hanagriff, Jacob Hester, Cade Wozniak, our audio producer, Paul O'Neill, our video producer, and Playboy Marty looking pretty happy today, in a pretty good mood. I think it's got something to do with the Rockets, but that's just a guess.
He actually had a really nice day because he not only won the Rockets bet, but he also put a couple of doll hairs on the Thunder to cover and the under and hit all three.
Now, that's just flat out arrogant. You try to hit three bets in one game. Rockets straight up, Thunder plus the points, and the under.
How about that?
You know how hard it is to I find it almost impossible to handicap a game with if I have to bet a side and a total in the same game. I mean, it's you know how that goes, right? Monday Night Football, a Monday Night bailout. Well, if I hit the side and the total,
Yeah.
But it's hard.
It's very hard.
And it's even harder to root,
That's right. Hey, maybe they should give him a microphone from, at night between 6 and 8. Maybe they should turn the thing around.
Yeah, absolutely. Give him his own segment or something. We got lots of. Let's start with Leonard Fournette because kind of been the topic for I guess going on 3 days now.
Yeah.
Just so to recap, the Jaguars tried to trade Leonard Fournette, didn't find any takers. We know why, because nobody was going to pay him the remainder of his contract for 2020, which was $4.1 million. We know that because everybody was offered the chance to pick him up on waivers and nobody did. So when it got past waivers and you could sign Leonard Fournette for less than $4.1 million, lots of people got interested.
Yep.
We thought one of the teams might be New England, and apparently there was some interest there. And then I made the mistake of forgetting that New England is now in Tampa Bay because that's where Fournette ended up signing, and it looks like a pretty good fit. The terms of the deal are not yet. We're going to get those here in just a minute. We're going to go to Tampa in about 15 minutes, but the fit looks good.
They got a stable.
Yeah.
Stable of backs now. Question marks, but stable.
Jones was going to be the bell cow back there, and you've got what's left of Shady McCoy, who was at one time a dominant back and is near the end of his career. But Fournette is better than all of them.
And also Keyshawn Vaughn. Keyshawn Vaughn was a guy at Vanderbilt that I thought a lot of. And the fact that he could do what he did behind that offensive line going against the other defensive lines within the SEC that they were going against, I think that's a guy that has starter potential in the NFL. And so when you look at the totality of who they have at running back, it is a really nice mixture of guys with different skill sets as well. And This is it was a little surprising because I knew that Jones had a pretty good season. I knew Shady McCoy had signed, but when Shady McCoy signed, Leonard Fournette was not available.
Cut down day is Saturday.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked if they let McCoy go. They're not going to keep four tailbacks. Oh well, they don't have a fullback, so I get maybe.
It's a shame, by the way. It's a shame, but. We had this conversation yesterday with the Saints and the fifth receiver.
Yeah.
Can Keyshawn Vaughn give you anything on teams? Like that will be a question.
He would have to.
Shady McCoy, Leonard Fournette, they ain't running down there on kickoff.
No, I wouldn't think.
And so that's the thing. Can Keyshawn Vaughn give you enough? Because if you don't feel like he can be a core teams guy, well, he moves into the third spot. McCoy gets cut, and then they bring in a special teams guy to fill that need if they do carry four backs, or they could only carry three.
I would tend towards, because like what you said, you're not getting a special teams contribution out of the veterans. It makes, in my mind, it makes McCoy expendable. Yeah. You're not going to cut Keyshawn Vaughn because he's cheap.
You just drafted him.
Right, he's cheap. You bring him in. Jones had an okay season last year. I thought he was okay. Good. I didn't think he was great. Didn't think he was terrible. Was looking to make a bigger step in his second year. But Fournette is clearly better than anybody they've got on the roster there, and it it's a situation where you bring in that one superstar and everybody wants to gravitate around him. When LeBron James put that triumvirate together in Miami, they got a lot of role players to take less money, veteran guys that would come in and take less money because they wanted to play with them. Did a similar thing in Cleveland, has done a similar thing in Los Angeles. This is the football. Tom Brady is the football version of LeBron James. Do you want to go play with the legend? Well, yeah. Rob Gronkowski wants to get out of retirement to go play with the legend. And now you see a running back that had options that says, it's not a bad place. I'll go with it. Tampa has not exactly been a destination spot for free agents. If they offered more money, they could get guys, but it's not like, oh, yeah, that's exactly where I want to go. Now, at least for this year, it is.
Let me ask you this, someone who obviously pays attention to this conference covering the Saints. How do you feel about the roster that they've put together? Because there's a couple of guys on there that you could look at it. Is this, a really nice group of guys who still has something left in the tank that can give you a year or two? Or is this like the year when Gary Payton and Karl Malone signed with the Lakers, the team with Shaq and Kobe, and that didn't work out, and you had guys chasing rings at the end of their career? We can use another Lakers example when Steve Nash and Dwight Howard teamed up with Kobe with Meta World Peace, right?
Yeah.
How is this going to work out? Is this just a bunch of names that we know, and they're on the other side of their career, like Gronk, like Tom Brady, like some of the other moves,
and
like Shady
McCoy is still there.
Ndamukong
Jason
Suh.
Pierre-Paul is still there. These are all veteran guys. It's
on the other side of it.
It's a Pro Bowl team from 4 years ago.
Exactly. So
I mean, the All-Pro team maybe from 4 years ago.
Yeah. So do you think this is a team that can come together and can create a chemistry and still has something left in the tank? When you see this roster as a Saints fan, as someone who has grown up and covered the Saints for a long time, is this a roster that scares you?
Yes. Yeah. Because there's enough talent there. Forget about the veterans for a second. When Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, across from each other, Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards to those guys. And, you had a back in Jones that ran for 700 and change.
Tight end position's loaded.
Right. You've got maybe the best tight end room in the league if Gronk is anywhere close to Gronk. You did all of that without Tom Brady. Now you get, maybe the best to ever do it, 43. And that to me is the whole deal here. When the end comes, the end tends to come very, very quickly. When Peyton dropped off, Peyton basically all but lost his job in Denver that last year.
Osweiler,
yeah. I know. No, the last year, the Super Bowl year. Osweiler.
Yeah.
That he got back in the starting lineup, and it was an injury and all that stuff. But man, look, if it had just been Peyton Smith, they wouldn't have put him back in the lineup, and he limped to the finish. Brett Favre limped to the finish, and we've seen this. These are all-time great quarterbacks, but boy, when you hit that wall, wham, and that's it. Is this the year that Brady hits that wall? I don't know. You get a lot of varying opinions on his game from last year and whether the drop-off was due to, hey, Father Time is undefeated, or was it the fact that, man, you take Julian Edelman out of the equation, who's he going to throw to?
He's never had a group like this to throw to. I think we can all agree. He's never had – he's had good receivers. He's never had Mike Evans.
Well, the one year with Randy Moss – The year that they went undefeated in the regular season, and Moss had that monster year.
Season, but even Moss, who is still so good, a little bit older.
It wasn't the prime of his career.
A little bit older. When you look at the
fantastic.
options that Brady has to throw to now, and this is the most talented group. Now, it's the best group. We'll have to see if that plays out, but most talented group. And I think he was off by Tom Brady standards a year ago. Still threw for over 4,000 yards. Still had 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That's not Tom Brady-like, but it's also pretty good.
You feel like he's going to keep you out of trouble, if nothing else. And what hamstrung them was the 30 interceptions that Winston threw a year ago. Even if Brady drops off, hits the wall, whatever you want to call it, he's not going to throw 30 interceptions. He's not going to throw 20 interceptions. Right. He's probably going to throw somewhere between 6 and 12 interceptions. He's going to average one interception every other game probably. And if you do that, then you can erase a lot of the problems that they had a year ago. So absolutely. I like this roster better than Atlanta's. I like it, well, obviously over Carolina. And yes, this is the biggest threat to the Saints by far in the NFC South. I like them better than Green Bay. I like them better than pretty much anybody.
What about Minnesota?
I don't like them better than Minnesota. Okay. I think Minnesota's a better roster. Dallas is close. I don't like them better than San Francisco.
Seattle?
I like them. No, I like Seattle a little bit better. Like them better than Arizona. You know, if I'm doing NFC power rankings right now, the Saints and the Niners are pretty much a wash over the top. I've got the Vikings and Cowboys right behind them, and the Seahawks and the Bucks right behind them. That's kind of in my head. That's the NFC playoffs. Those six teams. Not going to rule out Green Bay, but if you ask me for 6 NFC playoff teams, I give you Dallas in the East. I give you San Francisco in the West. I give you Minnesota in the North. I give you New Orleans in the South, and I give you Seattle and Tampa as your wild card teams.
I think that would be fair because we haven't even got to the part of Tampa Bay's defense that might be the best part, and that's their linebacker room.
The linebackers, yeah.
The linebacker room. It's Pierre-Paul, you mentioned him, Devin White, who's only going to get better and had a really good rookie season. David's been doing it for a long time. Shaq Barrett as well. So this is a team that has a lot of talent. Now, talent doesn't always win out. I gave you those Laker examples kind of as a joke, but it's true. You know, how many stars, how many good players, how many guys that have been the guy in other places can come in and be a role player on this team? That's going to be a big question.
Out of Brady, Gronk, Sue, Pierre-Paul, give me an over-under on how many games they're going to play. And you can average it out just to go to 6. The average, you're going to get 12 games, 14 games.
I think 12 because I want to see what Gronk's going to give you.
And I expect Brady to be on the high end of that. I think they keep him up.
He might be the only one that plays a full
16.
slate. But when you look at Gronk and you take that year off, and he changed his body. Remember, he lost a lot of weight. Now he's trying to fight to get back up to NFL playing weight. This is a guy that's been injury just hampered his entire career anyways because of the way that he does play and because of some of the hits that he takes as a receiver. So pretty nice to have O.J. Howard, by the way, and Cameron Brate. I'm
a Cameron Brate fan. Yeah. If Gronk had stayed retired, I don't know that Gronk is the guy that greatly changes my mind about Tampa.
I agree.
Because they've got other guys. Yeah, they've got other guys.
But going back real quick before we take that break, another point about special teams, none of those tight ends are playing special teams either. So
better have a bunch of backup defensive backs.
And I know their special teams captain is a running back that's he had 10 carries last year, but you start to get the numbers. You're not carrying 5 backs just because he was your special teams captain. Trust me, I know how that is. Be the captain one year, cut the next. But so that'll be interesting how they get this roster configured as far as all the people they've added and also having enough young guys that buy into the third phase of football as well.
Veteran coach. I think that matters in this situation.
Well, I think a lot of.
This is not the type of roster that you would want to hand to a first or second year coach. Right. So I think that helps. We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy. Feeling Hangin with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny.
Every year, Vitalant and Guarantee Broadcasting host their annual Fall Bash Blood Drive to help secure the blood supply here in our area. And this year, that is today. The Vitalant Donation Center, 8234 1 Cali Road. That's a service road at I-10 and Essen. You know, we want to thank you for going out. You've done a great job over the years helping us with this event. And to thank you even more, we've got gifts and prize drawings every single hour. Donors are entered to win things like Amazon gift cards, $250 Amazon gift cards. And lunch is provided by Jimmy John's. You know, Hurricane Laura resulted in the loss of over 280 blood and platelet donations. So right now, we're in desperate need of your donations. Again, the Vitalant Fall Bash Blood Drive, 8234 1 Cali, the service road at I-10 and Essen. The need for all blood types is needed. And, of course, if you're sick or if you've been around anyone who is sick, please do not be present to donate at the annual Blood Bash. That's all day until 7 o'clock tonight.
we opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and the Thurns grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. The latest on Kamara, how the opt-outs impact LSU. Mike Detillier's got all the answers, and he joins us Thursday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We are brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Along with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff. Let's go down to Tampa right now. We're going to talk with Greg Allman, who covers the Tampa Bay Bucks for The Athletic. Greg, thanks for spending a few minutes. How are you?
Hey, doing well, guys. Hope you are too.
All right, give me the reasoning behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bringing in Leonard Fournette, and if you do have any of the contract details of this signing.
Yeah, I think as was the case with Gronk and with LaShawn McCoy here, they're just trying to assemble as much talent as possible around Tom Brady. I think there's certainly a win now mentality with a 43-year-old quarterback and a 67-year-old head coach. And again, they I think most people thought they had a pretty good running game situation without Fournette coming in, just with with Ronald Jones back here, drafting two backs in April and adding LaShawn McCoy. But again, just adding somebody in here. As far as the financials, we haven't seen it yet just because they've only agreed to terms. But the initial reports were a $2 million base salary that can be as much as $3.5 million with incentives. Just a one-year deal, so he'll be an unrestricted free agent in spring.
Greg, when you look at the running back room, we were talking about it in the first block of the show. It looks like a stable right now. You mentioned LaShawn McCoy, and you mentioned Jones as well. You add Fournette to that. Keyshawn Vaughn's a guy I think a lot of, covering him in the SEC. So what do you think that final roster looks like? Because if I'm not mistaken, the special teams captain or one of the special teams war daddies was a running back from a year ago as well, and you're not going to keep 5 backs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible to keep 5 backs. It's not traditional, like you say. That fifth guy's a guy named Daria Gunbowale, who was kind of a third down pass-catching back. I think he had 35 catches last year, but didn't really run the ball very much. But he is their special teams captain, had 300 snaps on special teams last year, and isn't likely to get cut. You could keep him and not really think of him as a back at all. He would count towards that total. But Bruce said today, I think he carried 5 in the past. I think they've marginalized Keyshawn Vaughn a fair amount in adding these backs. So I think if you kept him, it would be probably knowing that Keyshawn Vaughn's going to be inactive a lot of Sundays if he's got Jones and McCoy and Fournette all ahead of him and fighting for carries. So you don't need to dress 5 by any means. But I think given the talent they have, there's definitely a window where they could keep 5 and manage and just be a little lighter at another position.
Greg Allman from The Athletic is our guest. Greg, if you had to summarize this roster, where would you say the biggest concerns are a week before the opener?
Yeah, there's definitely some depth concerns. I mean, I feel like their starters on both sides are pretty solid. They're not very well insulated against injury. At outside linebacker, at cornerback, they have 3 corners they like a lot, but if any of them got hurt, there'd be a guy that people would probably throw at, I think. Definitely an unproven cornerback on the field at that point. Outside linebacker, again, 2 great guys in Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul. Everybody else on the roster behind them, I think, has 8 career tackles total. So just very young, very unproven there. I had thought they might bring in a veteran, get a Clay Matthews type or something like that. But they haven't, so they clearly like the young guys they have.
How's the growth of Devin White been? Because this is a guy, obviously, we think a lot of here in Baton Rouge. We saw him. I know he missed a couple of games with injury, but when he was on the field, he was a difference maker. I've got to imagine he's going to take an even bigger role and look to be a leader on that defense, even though he is a young player.
Yeah, we just got Devin on a Zoom this morning. Such an enthusiastic, energy guy. Really easy to like what he brings in terms of just a young leadership on his defense. As you mentioned, really came into his own in the last 5 games last season. Had, I think, 4 fumble recoveries, 2 touchdowns, his first pick, forced fumble. Basically had a good rookie year in about 5 weeks. And I think as he gets more comfortable, this is a complicated defense to be in the middle of as a 21-year-old. So I think being in year 2, having some fluency and some understanding of what's going on around him will really help them. I think that's going to let them open things up, be more creative and more deceptive in their look. They're probably going to blitz them. I mean, he and Levante David are both really fast linebackers. So the idea of being able to blitz them up the middle and give a lot of different looks, I think you'll see a real emergence of Devin White on a national level this year.
Greg Allman is our guest from The Athletic. Greg, in his final campaign with the Patriots, we came to think of Rob Gronkowski as a 29-year-old in a 39-year-old's body with a year off to, in his words, remake that body. We think of him as an old guy. He's only 31. What kind of shape is he in, and what kind of camp has he had?
Yeah, a good one, and has looked fine. I mean, I don't think they've overwhelmed him in terms of reps, in terms of usage. I don't think they will. But I think what you have to do is you have to decide whether the rust of a year off is going to affect him as much as just being as healthy as he's probably been since like 2016. I mean, he had such a laundry list of injuries he dealt with, especially when your back is a problem. That can really be taxing. So I think just getting out of the grind of the NFL for a year, it looked like he really kept himself in good shape. I think he's pretty close in weight to where he was. I don't think he needs to be a guy that plays 50 snaps in a 60-snap game. I think it's probably more important that they preserve him and have him ready to where if they get to January and are playing in the playoffs, that's when he and Brady can really be a difference. So I think, like I said, I think it wouldn't be surprising if they ease off on what we've known him to be to help the likelihood of him being healthy and ready to contribute in January.
Greg, it's one of the most talented tight end rooms, maybe the most talented in the NFL when you look at it on paper. Can you see a scenario where you run that 12 personnel with O.J. Howard on the field with Gronk? And you could even go 13 personnel. I know the Oakland Raiders did it a year ago with all of their tight ends. Cameron Brate's a guy that's had a lot of experience and a lot of success in the NFL as well. How much do you think we could see at least 2 of those guys on the field at the same time?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They ran 14 on the goal line the other day with 4 tight ends.
As a former fullback, I love to hear that.
Right, exactly. It's so yeah, I think 12. I mean, we're in last year. I think 3 wide was probably their base personnel, maybe 60% of the time. They're probably not as good at third receiver as they were with Rashad Perriman last year. And like you said, I just think as a base package to have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Rob Gronkowski and O.J. Howard all lining up pass eligible. First of all, you can run out of that formation pretty well. Yeah. They're all really good blockers. And again, there's so many wide open for the defense to not account for. And you got probably the best quarterback you could ask for to find that mismatch and that opening in Tom Brady. So I think you'll see a lot of 2 tight ends and different combinations too. Cam Brate is their 3rd tight end. He's 4th in the NFL in touchdowns in the last 5 years. You got 27 scores. So like you said, it's a gluttony of talent and depth at the tight end position.
Greg Allman, thank you for spending some time with us today. Buccaneers writer for The Athletic. Going to be a very welcome start to the season, Brady and Breeze in the Superdome a week from Sunday. We'll look forward to that. Thanks a lot.
Hey, guys, take care. Thanks again. Stay safe.
Greg Allman covers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Such a shame there's going to be nobody in that building, but I can't wait to watch it.
It would be one of those atmospheres that we talked about for about 5 years. I think just with everything that's happening in 2020, with it being Tom Brady, with it being the Buccaneers, having a couple of LSU players, now they have another one with Leonard Fournette. I just think the energy in that building would be one of those all-timers. I'm not talking it being the Falcons Saints Katrina game, but it would be one that we would sit there and we'd have a conversation about. Man, remember 3 years ago?
Yeah, first of 3 maybe. I mean, they're going to play twice. They could play. Not going to surprise anybody if these two are both in the playoffs, and what if they had to play each other a 3rd time?
Yeah, he made a great point about the depth, because the depth of the team at some positions is absolutely stacked, but there's other positions that they're one injury away from playing someone who has never had any NFL experience. And so this is a team that has to stay healthy, and with an older veteran team, and a lot of these guys have had that question mark. Even Leonard Fournette. Leonard's missed some time as well. Shady McCoy's missed some time. So it's littered with guys that, if they're healthy, it's going to be a scary team, but it can very quickly turn on them as well.
Isn't that every team in the league, though? I mean,
well,
doesn't every
some
team
more
have?
Than, some more than others, but take a look at the Saints roster. I feel the Saints could go through an injury or two, and you'd still be like, oh, okay, they can move forward at way more positions, I think, than Tampa. Tampa Bay, you're good at running back, you're good at receiver, you're good at tight end. But like you mentioned, if your corners go down, you're in a heap of trouble. If one of your outside linebackers goes, you're in a heap of trouble. So I think the best teams, obviously, they can handle that. That's why the Saints roster was going to be so difficult for anybody to crack in and make that 53-man, because they have built that depth. Their defensive line, the linebacker room over at the Saints is as deep as you'll find. So every team's going to be a little bit different, and the great ones are able to, because injuries are going to happen in the NFL. The great teams can absorb them, the bad ones can't.
More NFL news when we come back. There's a player on the trade block right now, and I just want to tell you, apparently he's not free. We'll take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny. Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Tune into a Thursday edition of Game Time, live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz break down the latest lines from baseball, the NBA playoffs, and college football. Tune in from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Along with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff. The Miami Dolphins are trying to trade Josh Rosen. Stop me if you've heard this one before. How long have we talked about this guy? How long have we? Not me and you necessarily, because we were on opposite shows when he got drafted, but just his name has been bannered about. He was drafted 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He was drafted 2 years ago.
What a bizarre start to a career.
I can't ever remember a top 10 quarterback that is bounced from team to team, three teams in 3 years, which is essentially what this looks like. To have sometimes you get guys that just they bust out of the league. Okay. Yeah. You get a Ryan Leaf or an Achilles Smith or even a Jamarcus Russell, it just didn't work out. Matt Leinart. Okay, well then he can't. If you can't play, you can't play. If it's
right. Even if you're free.
Okay, if you can't play, you can't play. So moving. But ordinarily, quarterbacks get a little. You make that kind of investment, and
quarterbacks
you get a little
every
bit
benefit of every doubt when you're selected.
You've got a lot of draft capital in them. You've got a lot of money in them. And it's not the easiest position to pick up. Even the Brett Favres and the Peyton Mannings and the John Elways of the world, didn't exactly set the world on fire their rookie season. But this guy, they moved him out in Arizona very quickly. The Dolphins took a flyer. The Dolphins are going to move him. I just can't remember somebody this age being moved this quickly. Now, do you think it has anything to do with the fact that there were just two exceptionally talented quarterbacks that these teams had a chance to take? That because it was Kyler Murray, because it was Tua. Let me ask it another way.
No.
If a team in front of the Dolphins had snaked him and taken Tua, and he was off the board, and instead of taking him, they had taken a player at another position, do you think Josh Rosen would have competed with Ryan Fitzpatrick for the starting job?
No, I think they would have selected Justin Herbert.
Okay.
I truly believe the Dolphins had seen enough, and they were ready to get what they thought to be a franchise quarterback. Because even though, yes, they traded for him, they did not select him to be the franchise quarterback. I think that's a little bit different, and he was atrocious a year ago. I mean, he was bad. His quarterback rating was 52, and that's in 6 games played. He only threw 1 touchdown. He had 5 interceptions, and it's coming off a bad year when he was a starter in Arizona for 14 games. Those for 2,200 yards, 11 touchdowns to 14 interceptions, only a 66 quarterback rating. And so, and in college at UCLA, it was more about the potential than the actual production. And I'm not a fan of that when you're selecting a quarterback that high. Like, yes, you want to have potential, but, man, I got to see some proof as well. I got to see you go out there and by yourself beat Oregon and USC and all those teams in the Pac-12 just because you're that good. And we never really saw that from him. He never really took over a moment. So I think this is just a case where a guy doesn't have the skill set to be a starting NFL quarterback. Can he be a backup? Yeah, he's got enough potential to be a backup, and maybe as he matures, if he had to step in for 4 games, he could play better. He's not a 16-game quarterback. For no team, no organization can Josh Rosen be a starting quarterback.
Jimmy's take was always that he had been coddled, that he was soft, that through his whole career he had kind of been handed good situations, that he had never really bought into just all football all the time. And anytime you put him in a difficult situation, he was going to fold. I'm starting to my deal was always, yeah, but look at all of the tangible pieces. Look at the arm, look at the body, look at all this stuff. Couldn't he evolve? And I'm starting to think that, God, I hope he's not listening. Then maybe Jimmy was right. Don't record that, Kate.
Hey, cut that up.
Don't
give it to Playboy so he can give it to him.
Don't record that. But maybe he was right on Rosen, because I can't imagine anybody's going to trade for him because they know the Dolphins have to cut him. Same thing with Fournette. Nobody was going to trade for him because they knew they were going to cut him.
What did you think of him coming out? What did you think of him coming out of UCLA? His senior year, he throws 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 3,700 yards. He completed 62% of his passes. The year before, only 59% of his passes, and he had 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, only played in 6 games because of injury. When you saw him in college, what did you think that his potential was?
I thought that he was a first-round pick, but he was not a can't miss. He was a guy that you would take and develop, probably sit a year in the NFL, and then have a chance to become a starter in year number 2. Would I have taken him in the top 10? I don't know. I don't remember all the specifics of that specific draft, but did I think he was a first-round talent? I did. Now, the intangibles, who can say? But it certainly hasn't worked out for him, and he's also been hamstrung by the fact that he's played behind 2 really shaky offensive lines. He's not the most mobile guy in the world, so when he's been thrown in there, it hasn't been in the best of situations. And now this year, you have another franchise quarterback coming in behind you, so you know you've got no future with the Dolphins, no long-term future with the Dolphins. When somebody brings in your replacement and you know it, then you're essentially practicing and playing in preseason games to impress somebody else. No chance to do that this year. There was no preseason game where he could go out and really show off and have a team that maybe wanted to bring in a backup quarterback with some potential that had, an aging starter that says, hey, let's see if we bring this guy in and maybe down the line, in 2 years, maybe he's something. an Atlanta, a Detroit. Those guys that have been there a long, long time. Let's bring him in. Put him behind a veteran quarterback and see if in 2 years we have something. Never got that chance. I don't know where that maybe that situation exists for him getting picked up.
And the quarterbacks taken in that draft, we mentioned a couple, but obviously Baker went 1 overall. Sam Darnold went 3 overall. He has not set the world on fire in his career yet. Josh Allen, when he went to the Bills, that was the guy that everyone said, man, you should have taken Rosen there. And Josh Allen's actually turned out to be a pretty good player so far in his NFL career.
He's been the best one out of those 4.
Oh, for sure. The only one he hasn't been better than is Lamar Jackson, who was picked at
yeah, right. Out of those 4, Allen's been the best, and
I agree
of course
with you.
Jackson on the back end. If you had to take one of those 4 right now, obviously you wouldn't take Rosen, but out of the other 3, who would you take?
Oh, if Darnold, Mayfield, and Josh Allen, taking Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen has a real ability to be a dual threat quarterback and not design runs, but he can create his own. And Baker Mayfield, still the jury's still out on what he can be. I think he's been good at times. He's underachieved at times. Sam Darnold's just been bad. And
he was the one. Full disclosure, he was the one I liked the best. If I had the number 1 pick with Cleveland,
you're not alone.
I would have taken Sam Darnold.
You would not have been alone in that take either. So, when you look at the production of those guys, I mean, there was a quarterback draft where you're talking about that many quarterbacks taken in the first round. That's a good sample size, and you're going to always follow those guys throughout their career. Sam Darnold's one bad year away from them potentially looking to make another move. Baker Mayfield, this is kind of a big year for him as well because of all the talent that they've brought in at the skill positions. Nick Chubb's taking pressure off you rushing the football. What can you give me? Can you be the guy that leads us to the postseason? So a lot of those guys, man, it's a make-or-break year for them, and Josh Rosen could potentially be on his 3rd team.
It's got a lot of similarities, that draft, to the 83 draft. The 83 draft was when 6 quarterbacks went in the first round, and they don't have an Elway at the top now, so that would be the difference. But the comparison comes in, the Dolphins took Dan Marino with the second to last pick of the first round, and the Ravens got Jackson at the end of the first round, and both of those guys have been, Marino was a Hall of Famer, and Jackson's already been an MVP at this end. But in the middle, you had a lot of quarterbacks that didn't work out. The Todd Blackledges and the Tony Easons.
Great on TV.
Right. Although I do have to say that Jim Kelly went in that draft too.
Yes.
So there's not another one. It was a boomer bust draft. You got Elway, you got Kelly, you got Marino, or you got Blackledge, you got Tony Eason, Ken O'Brien. I guess
Ken O'Brien's the one that gets thrown into the Marino mix because he was 2 picks, I believe, before Marino. So that's the one that Jets fans like to always bring up.
And O'Brien wasn't terrible. Nobody knew who he was at the time, but he wasn't.
Cal Davis,
he wasn't. But he wasn't a bad pro quarterback.
Yeah.
He was better than Eason. He was better than Blackledge.
Just wasn't Marino.
He wasn't Marino.
By the way, real quick, a fullback went 13th overall in that draft. Do I miss those days?
A fullback went 13th
from Florida.
Okay, help me out.
James Jones.
Oh yeah, James Jones. How could I forget James Jones? You know what else I remember about that draft was Darryl Green went with the last pick of the first round, and Darryl Green, Hall of Famer. Yeah, it was a good draft. Eric Dickerson went that draft.
Fullback, 13th overall. Tear to a glass eye.
We'll take a break. Back with more Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Our annual Fall Bash Blood Drive from Guarantee Broadcasting and Vitalant going on all the way until 7 o'clock tonight. 8234 1 Calais Road. That's the service road at I-10 and Essen. Mitzi Bro is the Marketing and Communications Manager for Vitalant. Mitzi, why is it so important this year, more important than ever, to give blood?
We cannot host blood drives, mobile blood drives at the same capacity that we used to, and we cannot host most of, if not all of our school blood drives. And our schools account for about 30% of the blood supply when they're in session. So it has taken a huge impact on our local blood supply and the national blood supply. So this year's blood drive is even more important than it usually is.
Get on down to 1 Calais Road. Help us out. All of our donors receive a Vitalant umbrella while supplies last, and you're entered to win one of the $250 Amazon gift cards that will be given away. That's 8234 1 Calais Road.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to a superstore. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Hi, this is Chance Inman, President and Chief Operating Officer for Janney King Gulf Coast. Here are some ways to protect yourself and those around you from the coronavirus. Wash your hands often and thoroughly. Cover coughs and sneezes with your elbow. Disinfect high-touch surfaces regularly. Use non-contact methods for greeting others. And avoid touching your face. Following these steps, as well as social distancing, should help all of us stay healthy.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractor.
Coming up on Fridays Off the Bench, we get you ready for the college football weekend, preview the Saints' final roster, Hunt Palmer and Cole Kublik drop in, and a new Casual Friday tier list. Best appetizers. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
For some reason, no third-string quarterback in the league provokes quite so many opinions around here. Josh Rosen, even on our staff. Moscona's into the Bayou Ford chat on YouTube, trying to post a video. Thankfully, he can't. And Jimmy came. Of course, Jimmy's listening today, and he came up with the comp. And he's made this comp before. Yeah. I just forgot. Jay Cutler. For Josh Rosen.
So Jay Cutler had more success, obviously. He was a long-time starter with the Broncos, with the Bears. Obviously didn't work out with him for the Dolphins, his short time there. But the bad body language. He
just looked like he wanted to be anywhere else.
And just kind of this sense of entitlement and all those things. That's a pretty good comp. And I have no bones about keeping the secret that I'm not the biggest Jay Cutler fan. And when that's the leader of your team, when that's the guy that stands up in the front of the room and gives you the good talk and tries to motivate you, it's got to be a guy that looks like it is life or death.
Right.
And I'm not trying to say that to make it sound so serious, but it's got to have that feel to it. It's got to be, I'm not going to be able to live the rest of my life if we don't go out there and win this game today. I mean, you have to not only believe that in your heart as the guy who's given that speech, but you've got to make all other 52 guys on your roster make it feel like you have that, and you have to show it by your actions. You have to – I kind of hate saying, oh, the first one in, last one to leave. Yeah, you're a pro. Everybody should be that. But it has to be, what are you doing when you're there? Are you in the cold tub, hot tub? Are you in the locker room playing dominoes? Are you grinding on film? Are you getting everybody else to make sure that their assignments are exactly what they're supposed to be and they know them backwards and forwards? Are you, coming up with a game plan with the coaches? What are you doing when you're in the building? Because for me, and this is my experience, how in the world can I show up 10 minutes before the first meeting if I know that one of the top 3 quarterbacks of all time has been here for 2 hours? How in the world can I have a missed assignment when the guy who's going to be an NFL Hall of Famer with a gold jacket doesn't have missed assignments? And that has to happen from the leadership of your team. You have to have a quarterback that makes you feel that way, because if Josh Rosen's my quarterback, he's probably more worried about other things, what we're doing after practice. And I don't know on a personal level, but just the bad body language, that's kind of what that tells me.
The one difference I would say with Cutler and Rosen is that Cutler was at least durable. I saw him take a beating in Chicago and still go back out there. Now, no doubt he looked like he didn't want to be there, but he did. He played in every game for the Bears, say over 9 seasons, except for 9. So he missed about 1 game a year up until that last year. So he was a fairly durable guy. He would take a hit and he would go back out there. I don't know that Rosen would necessarily do that, but from a body language standpoint, hey, look, there ain't no doubt that was one guy that just looked like he was being absolutely forced to be there.
What would you get for Josh Rosen?
Nothing. Nothing.
If he's on the trading block and not being released, what are they? If I can't get anything for Leonard Fournette, I know, well, the salaries probably aren't. So I mean, salary comes in. This is a first-round pick.
Yeah, he's still on the rookie scale. He's
still
in
doesn't
year
matter.
3.
I mean, your top 10 pick. It's not $800,000.
No, I can look it up, but
so if you can't get enough for Leonard Fournette, that's what he costs. I mean, come on. So
you wait for him to cut him, and then you bring him in on.
You don't give up any assets.
No,
unless it's one of those situations where you had a quarterback you didn't feel strong about. You had a rookie backup, and he got, the veteran got hurt in camp, and you were going to have to start a rookie as a 4th-round pick. Then maybe we give you something. Other than that, no.
Forget about it. I wanted to sneak this story in before the top of the hour because our guy gets another little check mark. Brad Teague, the AD at Central Arkansas, and by the way, they are in action tonight against UAB. They are nearly a 20-point underdog, and they're coming off of a last-second win just Saturday.
I heard it was 21.5.
Is it going up? The Playboy Marty, check that out during the break. Last time I looked, it was 20. So I'm sure it's going up. All 82 players plus coaches and staff had their second test taken yesterday. All of them came back negative. 2 consecutive negative tests for the whole team, which means he's got a 100% participation for the game against UAB tonight. This is making a plan. This is implementing a plan. This is making sure that everybody follows the plan.
Yep.
I love it when a plan comes together. Our man Brad Teague, Executive of the Year in college football, on Central Arkansas's budget, baby. They're going to Birmingham.
Let me tell you something. They go to Birmingham and beat that FBS team. Put them over Clemson, number 1 in the country.
Did you take the 21.5 points?
Maybe.
You didn't. You didn't bet against Central Arkansas. You can't.
No. I bet with them.
Okay.
Yeah,
you took the points.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you wanted it to go over 21.
Oh yeah, I was happy that it was 21.5.
Okay.
Yes,
because
very much so.
Because I'm not sure they're the. I gotta lay off.
Actually pretty good.
I gotta lay off the game because I don't want to root against Central Arkansas, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can bet on them going in to play a team like that on 4 days rest.
Yeah, but they've got that experience of playing the game, Hanny.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that, but I'm not betting against them. That's just sacrilege right now,
That's
man.
Right.
I mean, go Bears.
By the way, I've been looking for the last week for a Central Arkansas mini helmet. I don't think they exist out there. We might have to create our own. We might have to like get a plain white mini helmet and get our own stickers and put them on there, which I'm fine with doing if I can
surely
find them.
Somebody out there runs one of these graphic and novelty companies can make us one, right?
Well, hey,
we'll put it up here.
We are on in Conway on CST. So if you're watching us right now, I'll pay for the thing. Just shoot me an email. We'll make a way to get you to your funds. Just send it to us.
Give your company a plug on the air.
Yeah.
We're happy to advertise for you. We like free stuff. Just
if it's free, I'll take 3.
It's better than Josh Rosen. That game's on ESPN3 tonight, by the way.
Put it on the main ESPN. Come on.
They did that on Saturday.
I know.
Probably the only time Central Arkansas will get there, but God bless them. Go Bears. Take a break. Hunt Palmer with us in hour number 2. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
Our friends over at Tiger Air and the American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning System. You know, when we talk about the American Standard, we're talking about one of the most efficient units on the market. And with Tiger Air being an independent American Standard dealer, you're going to get the best deal. You're going to get great installation. You're going to get great service after the sale, and you are going to start saving money. They put the American Standard in my home. I saw an immediate decrease in my energy bills, not just the efficiency of the unit, but the programmable thermostat. You can program it from your phone, program it to your schedule, so you won't have those heating and those energy bills at the end of every month that just hamstring you every time.
Do not forget how important maintenance is on your air conditioning unit. Get the Comfort Assurance Protection Plan, something we talk about all the time, because you're going to get that seasonal maintenance. You're going to get discounts on parts and labor. You're going to get priority service as well. That's all included in that Comfort Assurance Protection Plan we tell you about. Give them a call today at 225-754-8687.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Callahan Injury Lawyers. Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome in hour number 2, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, presented by Richard's Honda. Go ahead and throw an H in there because now Hunt Palmer is on set with us. Hunt, what's up, brother?
Well, you said it's Hanging with Hester and Hanny. I don't see any Hannies.
Yeah, I don't really know where he went. The funny part about it is Josh looked at me like, oh, what do we do?
No. I wasn't looking at you, what do we do? I was saying,
where
the hell is Charles? That's all I was getting at. Well, I know y'all got it under control.
Yeah, we've done this a time or two. Actually, Hunt's done it for me a time or two.
That's true. What are we talking about today?
Hanny, we're on air. It's okay.
We on TV?
Yeah, we're on TV. We're on air. It's okay. We did the whole open. Josh looked at us like we were crazy. We got it.
Every now and then there's a phone call you got to take.
I've been there.
So I apologize. By the way, I think I found just Central Arkansas helmet.
Sweet.
Let's
did they win last weekend? I think they did.
They did. Yeah, they beat the
Bears.
Yes.
Collegefangear.com, and there is a replica UCA Bears helmet there. $39.98.
All right, y'all start talking.
Charge it to Gordy.
All right, give me
Put
the
it up, expense that, guarantee.
Right.
All right, y'all start talking.
Where's the company card?
That's the one that lives with Gordy. You'll have to get back to you on that one. All right. Wanted to talk a little bit about the Nets hiring Steve Nash as their head coach, because we know the Pelicans are still looking for a head coach, and this one kind of came from, I would say, a little bit out of left field. He's certainly not the first player to get a job as a head coach without being an assistant coach. In fact, it's a pretty good list of those guys, and you go back, and it's not just Steve Kerr. If you go back in history, Doc Rivers, when he got his first job with the Magic, Isaiah Thomas with the Pacers, Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr both with the Warriors, Jason Kidd with the Nets. So it's not unprecedented. Derek Fisher was another one that got a job with the Knicks. So it's not unprecedented.
Fisher, how long had Fisher been out of the league?
About 6 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, was it the next year?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the next year. He retired. It was the next year. He actually had offers to continue his playing career and decided to take the head coaching job.
Right, and so it's not unprecedented at all. And I'm seeing stuff now that Tyronn Lue has been hired by the Sixers. Is that official?
I don't know if it's official, but I saw it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a couple of jobs come off the board here with Steve Nash. This is interesting to me. He is one of the more decorated players in the history of the league. He was a fantastic player, a Hall of Fame player. And it's not always easy for those guys to coach. It really, in any sport, the superstars sometimes have a hard time getting across to the common players. They see things that ordinary players don't see. They react in ways. They're physically able to do things. Their mental approach to the game is sometimes different. It's why Ted Williams could never teach anybody else to hit like he did. This is different. Nash has got guys that are as talented as he was. He's got Kevin Durant. He's got Kyrie Irving. Their personalities, I don't know if they're going to mesh or not, but it's a fascinating experiment, don't you think?
This is a guy that, he doesn't have coaching experience, but he's at least been part of the Warriors as a consultant. So he's had those relationships with players when he wasn't a player. And I understand that that's not coaching, but at least he's been in that role. It's a great point you make about it not working out for a lot of guys. The stars just typically don't work out because they are demanding something from players that they can't get because they can't be as great as he was. But to your point, not only do you have a Kevin Durant, you have a Kyrie Irving who's one of the best point guards of his generation. So that's the position that he played. It's a very talented roster. And when your stars say, yeah, we want that guy, we're going to buy in because you had a relationship with him if you're KD in Golden State, that part of it goes a long way. Still, we got to see what the X's and O's look like. This is a guy that, I'll be honest with you, I've seen more Steve Nash on soccer coverage and soccer stuff because he's part owner of a team. He's a guy that has a big soccer background as well. I've seen him covering soccer more than basketball. But this is, look, I'm a former player, and so I'm always going to side with the former player. I do think from day one he has the respect of the team, which that's the start. Now you've got to find out, can he coach?
To me, this is less about how well he gets them to space the floor and how, what side of the floor they put the pick and roll in and what their sideline out of bounds play looks like. And it's more about dealing with the NBA personalities, specifically Kyrie Irving, who's playing the position that he played. How well does he get along with Kyrie Irving? How well does Kyrie Irving respect him as a coach? Because we've seen guys in the NBA get sideways with their coaches. And LeBron's had guys just straight up run out of town if you don't get along with them. And so everybody's got to be on the same page there. And to me, in that league, when you've got guys as talented as Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, it's less about putting them in position to play. They're going to make plays anyway. It's more about, can you function the locker room throughout a season?
Well, those are two of the more difficult personalities that you would ever have to manage through the course of the season. So, like I said, I can't tell you this is a good move or a bad move. I think it's a fascinating mesh of talent and personalities, and I'm sure at some point ego. And you're talking about two of the best talents in the league who seem to be unhappy most of the time, especially where Kyrie Irving is concerned. Now, since we're talking about coaches, and we know the Pelicans are still looking for a coach, and we went through that long list at the beginning of the search, another name was thrown out by our friend Ali Cosell with thebirdrights.com, and that is Jerry Stackhouse, because he has ties, to multiple Pelicans. Brandon Ingram and Stackhouse have apparently a very good relationship. He's known Ingram since he was a very young kid. Stackhouse just finished his first year at Vanderbilt and was not an assistant coach in the league, played in the league forever.
Well, he was a G League coach of the year.
The G League coach of the year, but right, exactly. And I apologize. Before that, he did spend 2 years in the league as an assistant coach before he went to the G League. So it's not a complete rookie type deal here. What did you think of? You followed the Southeastern Conference basketball as closely as anybody. What did you think of the jobs? It was a lousy record, but you got to kind of look a little bit past that.
Well, second year in a row, Vanderbilt has their best player go down right out of the chute,
yes.
and they don't have their number one option. And I thought they played pretty well, and they played some teams really competitively. That, of course, they snapped their losing streak against LSU. We all remember up in Nashville, LSU couldn't get a stop, but that was a start of a 3-week period where they played everybody close and were really into it. And so the record's not good because you lost your best player and he took over a team that was an absolute disaster.
Were they 0-18?
Yes, they were.
Yeah. The year Darius Garland went down, they were 0-18.
And then that was the Joe Oliva game in Baton Rouge that LSU won the league, playing them at the end. That was the last game. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they were over, and they snapped that long skid in the middle against LSU. But, yeah, they looked pretty functional. You didn't hear any, disaster stories out of Nashville. It's hard to judge a guy on 1 year when he's in a rebuild and loses his best player. But they played some pretty good teams head up and won some games.
If you asked me about Jerry Stackhouse in his year at Vanderbilt, I would tell you they got better. Mm-hmm. They were a much better team at the end of the schedule, and that to me is always the sign that they're being coached well. You want your team peaking at the end of the season. Now he had to start from, like you say, the absolute bottom of the bottom, but they were playing better. I find myself not hating the idea of Jerry Stackhouse there because of the G League thing, because he has spent so long in the league, because of the relationships he's built, and now he's got a little bit of experience as a head coach, 1 year in college and again that time in the G League. I don't hate this idea. If he emerges as a serious candidate, I find myself more inclined to buy in than not. I'm gonna throw the Vandy record kind of out and not worry about that as much as some of the other things that are on the resume. And I mean, my goodness, the guy played for Dean Smith, and he was in the league for 35 years.
Well, I don't have to tell you. I don't know. I don't have to tell you this, but I'll just throw it out there. I mean, it on paper to me would be a much better looking hire than Alvin Gentry was when you hired him. I mean, Alvin Gentry to me was just a retread who hadn't gotten it done. I mean, they won some games in Phoenix, but
I would be more excited for him than say a Nate McMillan. And McMillan has been in the league, for a long time. He's been a coach in the league for quite a while, but in 15 seasons, he's won one playoff series. So I know, and he's had some decent rosters. I know they had some injuries in Indiana, but I would be more inclined to take a shot that Stackhouse could be a star. Might be a bust, might be a star. We don't know. But he's got all of the things on the resume that you like. He's actually more qualified than Nash right now. Well, yeah. He's more qualified than any of those names on that list that I read to you a minute ago. The list with Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr. And because if you've gone and been a coach in the G League, if you've been a head coach for a year in college, all of their playing resumes have a ton of ink on them. So that's kind of a wash. He's actually got more than all of those names that we gave you.
I mean, I think the number one thing is, how do you deal with Zion? Have you had a star before? Can you have that relationship? Can you help him grow in his game? When you have the assets and all the things that the Pelicans have, it's still got to be Zion. It's got to be, how do you mesh with Zion? Have you had this situation before?
I don't know that he's got a personal relationship with Zion. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I know about the personal relationship he has with Ingram. But I do think that it's important to remember that Jerry Stackhouse was a superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a superstar in college the same way that Zion was. He was a terrific player in the NBA. He was not a superstar in the NBA the way he was in college. He made a couple of all-star teams, and he was in the league forever. But in college, like Zion, he was an absolute superstar. Zion's hype was greater than Stackhouse's because I think of social media and some of those other things. But he was absolutely right there at the top of all of those lists. I think he can relate to a lot of things that Zion is going through.
It's the same thing we talk about with Kevin Falk down the street. It's it's dealing with being the guy from Louisiana and showing up and playing for that school and being all eyes on three. I mean, there aren't that many guys on the planet that have this kind of experiences that you can relate to, but that would be one.
I'm not endorsing, saying that this is the only guy they could hire, but like I said, I find myself, it was a name I hadn't considered before Ollie brought it up, and I started looking at it a little deeper. It's like, yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
I guess you probably should have seen this coming, and not that there are a ton of these, but if I'm a Vanderbilt basketball fan and I've had one season with him and I'm already getting this, I'm rolling my eyes going, oh, we are just a stepping stone.
Well, remember also that the AD that hired him is no longer
That's
there.
That's right.
And he had the G League connections.
He had the G League connections, and that AD is no longer there. So, yeah, did you really expect that Jerry Stackhouse was going to coach 20 years at Vanderbilt?
No.
I mean, he was gonna go back to the league at some point. He just had a personal relationship with the AD. That's no longer there. So, yeah, if it's not the Pelicans' job, and it may not be this year, but he's going to be a head coach in the NBA at some point. So,
no.
Tough luck, Vandy.
Yeah, all four of their fans will be disappointed.
When's my guy Patrick Ewing going to get a shot to be an NBA head coach? I mean, I know he's back where he played, and he might stay there for the rest of his life.
I watched him play 2 or 3 times last year. They got better. They got better too. He's done a decent job there. It's not the easiest job in the world, and I know John Thompson just passed, but there's not a lot of guys that can go in there and command the respect in that program because it was John Thompson's program.
Yeah.
He was still the godfather there. And of course Ewing was the best player that he ever had. It's a difficult pair of shoes to step into there. I would say that now, see where I would have said Jerry Stackhouse will never coach for 20 years at Vanderbilt. If you told me that Patrick Ewing would coach 20 years at Georgetown, I might say, well, yeah.
He was a long-time NBA assistant coach because a lot of people just assume because every 3 years the Knicks have a new head coach, that might be giving them a little bit of link there. Probably every 2 years, they thought maybe he would get a chance to be the Knicks head coach.
They discriminate against the big guys. Every name I just named on that list, they're all guards.
That's right.
They're all guards. They discriminate against the big man. Phil Jackson was 6'10". I mean, come on. Take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny. Brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm, fuzzy feeling. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
The annual Fall Bash Blood Drive with Guaranty Broadcasting and Vitalant going on right now all the way through 7 o'clock tonight. 8234 1 Calais Road. That's I-10 and S in the service road there. Formerly United Blood Services, Vitalant facing many challenges through the COVID pandemic and, the inability to host a lot of the mobile blood drives at their normal capacity. They're seeing the blood supply for patients go too low. And, of course, the hurricane did not help. And so right now they need help. If you can get by there today, we're going to give you a free Vitalant umbrella while supplies last, and you're going to be entered to win one of 4 Amazon gift cards of $250. And they're providing lunch there from Jimmy John's. So if you'd like to help us out, they lost over 280 blood and platelet donations during Hurricane Laura. So the need has never been greater. All the way until 7 o'clock tonight. We do this every year, but this year even more important. At the Vitalant Donation Center, 8234 1 Calais Road. Again, the service road between I-10 and Essen Lane, all the way until 7 o'clock tonight.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
This is big. Really big. I mean really, really, really big. Because Honda's summer clearance event is going on right now at Richards Honda. With 0 to the 4th power on brand new Honda Civics. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 security deposit, and 0 first month payment. Plus, summer clearance on every new vehicle in stock. Just another reason why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. The latest on Kamara, how the opt-outs impact LSU. Mike Detillier's got all the answers, and he joins us Thursday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Hunt wants to trade hats with Playboy Marty.
I do not.
Ooh,
I already
yeah.
commented on that hat. It's terrible.
The show, it's a White Sox hat, and it's a white White Sox hat.
Are terrible. You know how
they're actually not. They're actually pretty good.
They actually have a lot of talent. You know how something happens like last week and y'all were watching football and you feel like we're getting back to normal. Like you take steps, something happens. Like, yeah, I hadn't done that since it started. I'm watching the Cubs doing Hester's radio show. That kind of feels normal.
Okay.
It's very true because you sat over on this seat many times and watched the Cubs on your computer. But you didn't miss a beat, though. I'll give you that. I had some other co-hosts that could not have done that. Looking at you, Matthew.
I was about to say, you got any in mind?
Hunt thinks 18 is overrated.
No, I would never say that.
That's Jordy.
Michael wants to know who wears 18 this year. We've had a discussion. They don't have to make a decision until
late. But I mean, they can still delay it a couple of weeks. I'm still going to champion for Jacoby Stevens, and if it's somebody else, there's other guys on the team that could wear it. Chris Curry comes to mind, Todd Harris comes to mind, a couple of guys they've really stepped it up, and obviously Harris went through the injury. For me, it's Jacoby Stevens. I love his mentality. I love the way he plays football. I think he's a stud. I think he's got piss and vinegar to him when he's out there. He plays pissed off, which I love. I think he's a leader as well. So, I mean, I'm going to be in that camp until we see who.
I heard some Jabril Cox buzz.
He's wearing 19, so he's close. Well, I mean, I don't know, but you would just think it would be a guy who's been here for a little bit.
My dark horse is Chris Curry.
That's not a bad one.
And look, Stevens is the choice, I think.
And full transparency, when Chris Curry first got here, I was watching him run, and from where he was then, and he always ran mad, but sometimes when you make that transition, and we all fall into it. I fell into it. I remember Leonard Fournette fell into it a little bit. When you're a bigger back, you kind of have the tendency to see a hole, duck your head, and try to get as many yards as you can. And he has grown so much. And we saw him a little bit, obviously, in the Oklahoma game when Clyde was injured. But just the videos and being out of practice a couple times, he has really picked it up. His vision has improved, and this is a guy that is going to get the most carries on the team.
You know what I think probably didn't help him, or the perception of him, is when he got here, all of the comparisons to Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
And that's a heck of a lot to dump on a freshman that's coming in and, you're going to be like Marshawn Lynch. And you have to compare him to the Marshawn Lynch his freshman year at Cal, which I don't remember at all. Okay,
driving that golf cart.
Funny how things stick, right? But then so he's not Marshawn Lynch with the Seahawks right out the gate at LSU, and everybody's like, Marshawn Lynch is just because of the hair. No, there are, when you saw him finally run a year later, it's like, okay, I see a little bit of that. And again, don't compare him to the 10-year veteran Marshawn Lynch. Don't compare him to the Marshawn Lynch that drugged the Saints for 70 yards in Seattle that day. Compare him to Marshawn Lynch when Marshawn Lynch was 19 years old.
I thought at the game against Oklahoma, he hit the line of scrimmage at full speed.
He did.
And he did it with vision. And if you can do that, you might not be an 80-yard home run hitter, but you're going to have a lot of 15-yard runs that help your team win a football game. And this is a guy that I see getting double-digit carries in every game.
I could not be less concerned about LSU's running back position and the production they're going to get from that spot. I realized Clyde was brilliant last year. He had one of the best seasons we've seen, some of the best games we've ever seen. But that combination of the 3 returning plus Trey Bradford, that amount of talent, they're going to be just fine at that spot.
I'm with you, Hunt, and here's why. 2 years ago, we spent the entire month of August. LSU's got nobody coming back that's
ever rushed for a touchdown.
And is this the first time that they don't have an NFL back on the roster? And who's going to carry the ball? And Nick Brissett ended up running for 1,000 yards, and Clyde was on that team. So yes, not only was there an NFL back on that squad, there was a first-round pick on that squad. So and look, Clyde wasn't quite Clyde yet, but he was a contributor.
Yeah,
he was contributing that year. So I'm with you. Hunt goes to Chick-fil-A and orders a burger.
Do they even have that?
No, it's kind of the point.
Well, they have a sausage biscuit now. I thought they might have done. I don't really go to Chick-fil-A because any Chick-fil-A
you
pass,
hit that phone down one more time.
If you pass, I don't care about that. If you ever pass a Chick-fil-A anywhere on earth at any time of day that's not a Sunday, there's 17 cars in the drive-thru.
They run it fast.
And it takes like 3 minutes to get through there.
If the whole world ran like a Chick-fil-A drive-thru, the world would be a better place.
Hey, Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's can have 97 people in their line, and you're going to get through in about 30 seconds. Whataburger can have 3 people in line. It's going to take 97 minutes. If Whataburger had those 2 services, it'd be the greatest place of all time. But it doesn't.
Looking like a true Shreveporter, East Texan right there.
Bayou Ford Chat's got a different question. Here's one. This sparked a little bit of discussion of us during the break. Do you think Frank Martin at South Carolina would be a good NBA coach?
I thought he would. I mean, y'all make great points, and obviously you can give your argument. I love his demeanor. I love his knowledge of the game. I've had a chance to interview him many times, and I always learn something when I talk to him, and I come away highly impressed. I realize his style is more fitted for the college game, but again, and Hunt said it during the break, this guy took South Carolina to a Final Four and really had Gonzaga sweating that one out to go to the championship game.
When I think of Frank Martin, I think of one of the best basketball minds in college, and he has done a great job at South Carolina. He was exceptional at Kansas State. Before that, I don't think that his style would go over very well in the NBA. I think he's a little bit too rigid. I think that he might have a more difficult, and it's not just him, okay? A lot of college coaches, there's just not a ton of guys that have done what Billy Donovan did, okay? Calipari couldn't do it. Pitino had mixed results at best. Jerry Tarkanian couldn't do it. There's just not a lot of guys that can do both really well.
Billy Donovan's just now kind of finding his way with the Thunder and what
Billy Donovan has.
Brad Stevens has had some success.
Yeah, Brad Stevens has done a great job. Yeah. There's just not a lot of those guys. There's way more examples on the other side. Billy Donovan does not have the job that he thought he was getting. He thought that he was getting 10 years of Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, and that's not what he got. To his credit, he stayed there, and this year, he and Nick Nurse, they did the best job of anybody. So I don't know. I think when I see Frank Martin, I see a disciplinarian, and I don't think that flies in the NBA.
Thinking about a guy who's got an 8-figure shoe deal coming off the floor to that stare and that foot stomping and that it just doesn't work with those guys. They don't want to deal with that.
Vote in here for they're talking about NBA coaches. Bill says, personally, I liked Monty Williams. I like Monty Williams too. I think Monty Williams was put in a lot of bad spots. It wasn't exactly a real well-rounded roster that he was constantly forced to deal with. Playboy Marty, wake up. This is your portion of the program.
Playboy said you can't have him back.
What do you think of the job Monty Williams has done in Phoenix overall? Because obviously in the bubble they were great, but overall.
I love Monty Williams. They instantly, and this is coming from a fan of a team who's been on a head coaching search for 6+ years. He came in and it was just instantly different than all the other guys. I'm happy, but we've been looking for a head coach for 5 straight years. Steve Nash clearly was interested. I'm a little salty that the year after we finally found a coach, that's where he goes.
And why have you been looking for a coach 5 consecutive years?
I mean, we've been bad.
No. Not the reason. Where are you weakest? Where are the Phoenix Suns weakest?
Oh, ownership.
Aha. Aha. We have located the problem. Run coaches through, run players through. Ownership is forever, or just about forever. Does Hunt have a real job? Yes, Hunt has a real job.
Show up there in the mornings.
At least 3 days a week, right?
Yeah.
Take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Gotros Outdoor Power for all of your property maintenance needs. 2 locations, Airline at 74 in Gonzales, Airline and Industrialplex here in Baton Rouge. Our friends at SCAG honoring the Simply the Brave program for all of our police, fire, military, and our first responders, our medical people, with a 15% discount on all SCAG inventory. This is your 0 turns, both residential and commercial, free delivery, great parts inventory department, the largest in the state. You're always going to get service after the sale.
Something I love about GoTros is that free delivery, right? We always talk about it. If you're listening to us up in North Louisiana, go to GoTrosOutdoorPower.com. Check out all the skags that they have to offer. You can find that information there. And then once you make that decision, they will bring it to you for free. Please take full advantage of that. Again, GoTrosOutdoorPower.com. That's GoTros. We make it easy.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Janney King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in
Tune in to a Thursday edition of Game Time, live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz break down the latest lines from baseball, the NBA playoffs, and college football. Tune in from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Lon Palmer with us today. What do you know about South Alabama and Southern Miss?
It's usually a pretty good Tuesday afternoon baseball game. A couple of solid programs. Corky Patterson.
This is the football game tonight that's on national television. You know national television, right?
That's your favorite term.
Yeah, you can get it anywhere in the nation, right? It's 8 o'clock tonight on the CBS Sports Network. Golden Eagles just under a 2-touchdown favorite.
They do it. Jay Hobson, I do know, is their head coach. I remember when he came over from Alcorn State, that was a big deal for him to land this job. And a guy who played at Ole Miss, so obviously the state of Mississippi, means something to him. Basically spent his entire career there. So It's a program that it had its hype for sure. I remember when I was in school, that was one of those G5 teams that was a pretty good team, and then they went through the dumps. And then Todd Monken had a rough first year, and he kind of brought them back, and then they've kind of had some ups and downs. But this is a team that, it's kind of steady Eddie. It's not what it used to be. It's not the Southern Miss when I was in school, but it's still a decent program.
Imagine you're a dyed-in-the-wool Ohio State fan, Penn State fan, Michigan fan, Wisconsin fan. And you sit down tonight and you crack open a cold one, and you look on your television and you find that the South Alabama flipping Jaguars and the Southern Miss God Blessed Eagles are playing football in 2020. What did I say?
You said Eagles.
Golden Eagles. I'm sorry. The bleepity bleep Southern Mississippi blankety blank Golden Eagles with a budget that equals what we spend on athletic tape here in Columbus are playing football in 2020. And not only is my team not playing, I don't know if my team is going to play next month, the month after that, 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 or the month after that. I got you all the way to May there.
I wasn't paying attention anymore. I tuned out.
Were you not counting?
It's only going to get worse if they don't play. Because I think you can stomach the blow of an 8 o'clock Southern Miss South Alabama game when LSU and Florida lace it up, and then that's followed by Auburn, Tennessee, or whatever it may be. Like that's hard to stomach.
Imagine the roles were reversed. Okay, if the Southeastern Conference and the ACC had canceled, and the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the Pac-12 were all playing. And we were sitting here tonight, and we watched South Alabama and Southern Miss, but the commissioner of our conference had said, nope, no LSU, no Alabama, no Florida, no Auburn. Could you imagine?
Nope, don't want to. I would be sick the entire time.
So that is what the Big Ten fans are dealing with. It's real now. That this has been.
It's real last weekend, I bet.
It was real. It's on Saturday. It was real. It has been a catastrophe for them, but now you get the catastrophe to slap you across the face. Pretty much going to be on a weekly basis between now and Thanksgiving. This is your wife left you for the guy down the street that you can't stand, and they walk by the house every day, every afternoon, okay? And she took half your stuff in the divorce, okay? Drives your car down the street with him in the passenger seat.
And they're an angry fan base. Anytime that I do an interview in Big Ten country, they have the same belief of we should be playing. They want to be on the field. They see the SEC, the Big 12, and the ACC are playing. But you're exactly right. I think it hurts more that they just saw a team from the Southland Conference play last weekend. They're going to play again tonight. They're going to see Sun Belt teams play each other, and you can't find a way. You can't get us to a yes. That's got to be infuriating.
That to me, I disagree with Hunt a little bit. When they see LSU and Florida play, they're like, and that's some lunatics out of the Southeastern Conference. They'll kill everybody to play football, but not the South Alabama Jaguars, not the Southern Miss Golden Eagles, not the Central Arkansas Bears and their $13 million budget. No, those people are not supposed to be able to get things done where we can't.
With how many positive tests?
0. 82 for 82. Zippo in the morning. Yep. All the players, all the coaches, all the staff managed to get themselves out of Conway, Arkansas. Get themselves to a game with Austin Peay. Stay, where did they stay? Like the Comfort Inn or
probably.
Something?
Maybe the Hampton.
Yeah, maybe okay. I bet you Teague got them complimentary breakfast every day. Free local phone calls. Yeah, you just know he got that done. Box lunches every
little
day.
Box of cereal there.
Place to practice out behind the hotel.
I'm about to pull the trigger on a $38 mini helmet. That's how big of a fan I am for the Central Arkansas Bears. Okay.
Thanks to Tex Morris, by the way. He's the one that sent us the link as soon as you were looking for a helmet. They got all that done. Central Arkansas is going to play 2 games in 5 days, and Ohio State can't get on the field.
And it's, Handy, the part of it that's just crazy is the fact that every day when we turn these microphones on, they've got a new rumor or something happening in the Big Ten, and then the next day it contradicts itself. I'll be honest with you, I can't imagine, and Hunt, you can speak on this, I can't imagine being a part of those fan bases, getting your hopes up and then getting let down, and then getting your hopes up again and then getting let down 6 times within a 6-week period. It seems like there's been a new plan in place that has not only been a rumor, but gained steam, where some of these coaches and ADs are putting the information out there, giving it to their sources to run with, and then all of a sudden you're still sat here not knowing when you're going to play.
Well, to a lesser extent, we went through it a little bit with baseball because they kept kicking the can down the road. Well, they proposed and they didn't like that, and they proposed and they didn't like that, and it was the owners and the union and the owners and they couldn't get on the same page. And all the while, basketball had figured their stuff out, and people were playing. The KBO was playing over in Japan, and it looked like people were starting to make progress. But the MLB was still bickering over money. This is not that same situation, but in the sense of I'm ready to play, can we please play? There was a little bit of that going on, in May, June, and finally baseball figured it out. But I don't know that I have as much confidence in the Big Ten.
We're just a little over a week away from 6 months in the pandemic, the day that sports shut down. I've lived in Baton Rouge for over 30 years, and never in my wildest nightmares did I ever consider that we would go 6 months without LSU sports. Just was inconceivable to me, and we're just a little over a week away from hitting that benchmark. But we know it's almost over. We know that the drought for LSU sports is almost over. We got a few weeks to go, but we can see it from here. It was difficult to see in June, and for a couple of really terrible days in August, it was difficult to see then. But we can see it from here. The Big Ten can't see it. They don't know when or if it's coming. Yeah. And they're not being reassured by anybody in authority that they have a plan for a way out of this. I can't imagine if we were dealing with that here. Bad as this has been, and all of the things that everybody's had to go through, I can't imagine if we would just say, you know what, we're giving up indefinitely.
How do you think Commissioner Warren's nights of sleep are going?
I can't imagine real well. First of all, his phone probably rings nonstop. Who is it? It's Michigan.
It's Harbaugh again.
Who is it? It's whoever's defending you against the Nebraska players, whatever the lawyer's name is.
Counselor.
Who is it? It's Kirk Herbstreit. You want to come on game day? Explain why you're not playing?
That's a good idea.
Damage control. Take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
The Fall Bash Blood Drive from Guarantee Broadcasting and Vitalant continues all the way through 7 o'clock tonight at 1 Calais Road. That's the service road, I-10 and Essen. Mitzi Bro is the marketing and communications manager for Vitalant, and she tells us all of the protocols about donating during the pandemic.
I do want to reiterate to everyone that giving blood is safe. The U.S. Surgeon General, the FDA, the CDC, and of our Governor Edwards and a lot of our local government leadership is strongly encouraging blood donation through the pandemic because the need for blood has never stopped.
Pandemic has created a huge need for blood, and Hurricane Laura just exacerbated this. They lost over 280 blood and platelet donations during the storm. To donate, head to 8234 1 Calais. That is the service road, I-10 at Essen. We're going to give you a free Vitalant umbrella, and you'll be qualified to win one of the Amazon gift cards of $250 that are being given away there, and lunch is being provided by Jimmy John's. So donate today. The Guarantee Broadcasting and Vitalant Fall Bash Blood Drive till 7 o'clock.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors. It's the law.
This is a house call. This is a test result. This is a prescription refill. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. Start your virtual visit today at Auctioner Health.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Gulf Coast. Coming up on Fridays off the bench, we get you ready for the college football weekend, preview the Saints' final roster, Hunt Palmer and Cole Kubelik drop in, and a new Casual Friday tier list. Best appetizers. Off the bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny and Hunt on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And Hunt, as usual, did not bring anything for us to eat. But tell us about
I really
Hungry
need to step the game up. I can do that. We'll make it happen at some point.
All right.
Hungry Howie's will hook it up. Hungry Howie's bringing you Hanging with Hester, Hanny, and Hunt Tuesday and Thursdays. I hope you made Hungry Howie's part of your football weekend last weekend with some pizza. I also had some wings from Hungry Howie's. They've got the original, which has got the buffalo sauce. They've got the barbecue with a sweet barbecue sauce. They've got the Asian, got a tangy Asian flair. They got a sriracha if you like some kick with your wings. Of course, they got that delicious flavored crust pizza, the new flavor we told you about last week, the butter Cajun. I'm a butter garlic fan, maybe just a plain butter, but if you like a little kick like we talked about, get the butter Cajun crust. Download the Hungry Howie's app. You can customize your order, set your pickup time, set your delivery time, and have it for a wonderful dinner tonight. Go to hungryhowies.com to place your order. You can go down to the store, Nicholson, just south of LSU's campus at Lee. Hungry Howie's bringing you Hanging with Hester, Hanny, and Hunt Tuesday and Thursdays.
I didn't get a chance to ask you about the scheduling that came out this week. The 5 o'clock Alabama start, the opener being at 2:30. You okay with all that?
Well, if I'm trying to draw conclusions from that, the opener at 2:30 in September, when my defensive line's been hit hard in terms of depth, it's not super awesome. If we're being honest, I'd probably rather that game be at night when it's a little bit cooler, so those guys can get a little bit of a breather. But I think it's a little bit of a different year. You got some 2:30s. I think the 5 o'clock SEC game is going to make 5 o'clock Alabama game is going to make for a difficult pregame show for me with the Masters on my laptop, but we're going to make it work one way or another. But overall, no huge. The time of the game is just not a big deal to me. I'd rather it be at 11, so the post-game show's over at 3. But we can't have everything.
A week from today, the NFL starts, which means, Hester, we now have two teams actually, in game week preparation starting today. They've still got the expanded rosters, but the cuts are coming on Saturday. We actually are technically we're in NFL game week starting tonight.
We've been asking for a long time. Get us to game week. Get us to a point where we can start breaking down games. We can start creating matchups. We can give you who has an advantage, who has a disadvantage, and we're finally getting there. And it seemed like we never were.
To me, for this, and I don't have an NFL team, so it's not quite the level that most of the people in this room have it, but I can look at the NBA season and go, yeah, they sent most of the teams home. They played in a bubble, and some of the games are at 1 in the afternoon. It's a little bit weird. And I can look at the MLB and go, you only play teams in your division, and there's no fans. It's a little bit weird. You look at the SEC and go, you're only playing 10 games, only conference games. It's a little bit weird. The NFL is just about as straightforward as you can get. We're not going to have packed houses, but the schedule's intact. The teams are intact. Everybody's playing. That doesn't feel cheapened to me at all.
Other than the people in the stands, and we're going to have to make some adjustments there. And if you wager on the sports, you got to decide how much you feel like limited or no capacity stadiums are going to affect your home field advantage. But next week at this time, we'll be talking about Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, we'll be talking about the Chiefs. They got their rings ahead of time since they weren't going to do it in a ceremony that night. Good-looking rings, too, by the way.
Anything that says champion on it looks good.
That's true. The rings themselves look pretty sweet. And then Mahomes had to one-up everybody and propose to his girlfriend at the same time. So
ring for a ring.
It wasn't enough.
I think it was just an upgrade to his wife, right? I think it was well, by the way, I bet hers cost more than his. Did you see this thing?
Hers?
Yes.
No, I saw the championship rings. I didn't see hers. He's not pinching pennies on his budget. You did hear about the contract, right?
Oh, for sure I did, but I'd make her walk around with like an armed guard.
Thing's
huge.
What's the over under on carats in Patrick Mahomes' fiance's ring?
Well, I just bought one recently, and I think he got me.
Hon, he could have spotted you 3 touchdowns worth of carats, and he got you. I saw the picture of him and her, but I didn't see the ring. You saw the ring?
I saw it. I'm gonna look it up while you are.
Is she gonna be dragging one arm or left arm just on the ground as she tries to walk?
Can you put 10 carats in one stone on a ring that doesn't look?
I bet you can.
10 carats. I'm gonna say 10. He got to double digits. What does a 10-carat diamond ring cost?
Out of my league. But if anyone out there's listening and they have one and they'd like to insure it, you can call me. I can do that.
I could understand that. Now, we're going to be talking about this game in a week. This is real NFL football. We will have real college football to follow it. I mean, real, ACC football, but still, hey. we're watching Austin Peay play football. We're certainly going to watch Clemson play football.
Would this have been the opener, or would this have been Texas week? Were we scheduled for an August game?
This would have been the Roadrunners. This would have been UTSA. But just when you said that, it just hit me. The Thursday of the opening game.
That's when you start seeing some porta potties be put out, trash cans everywhere. They'd be taping stuff off.
The little skeleton tents.
Yep, they'd be out tomorrow. You start having RVs roll in.
RVs in the Walmart and Winn-Dixie parking lots, waiting to pounce. Getting up tomorrow would have been. Now we do have Football Friday tomorrow, right? Playboy Marty. Remember that. Jimmy is going to Football Friday tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m., 10 to noon. So it will feel like a Football Friday, even though we just have a little bit of football.
Hey, real quick, Paul, can you throw my screen on the back screen here?
Yeah, he just clipped me, Charlie.
This
he
ring
just
off.
got me.
I think just a little that bit. He just got Hunt Palmer, just by a little bit.
It's bigger than her knuckle.
Yeah, that's not the borough of Brooklyn. That's her ring.
That band has got me beat.
And the band's got little diamonds all the way around it. I mean, all the way around it. That's not a zircon.
No. So again, do you get my point? Like I would insure it for sure.
Yeah.
And
Call me.
Make sure you got somebody close in case somebody tries to snatch and grab the ring off her finger.
How much was that ring that Drew Brees got stolen from his wife, the jeweler, or didn't steal it, but scammed him out? It was like $400,000, right? I know he missed the day.
It was $250 at least.
It was a day at training camp that he skipped to go out there for the trial to make sure that they put that guy in the hoosegow.
Jeez.
and Drew Brees is not exactly going to miss $400,000, but he was going to go out and make sure that guy.
There's a couple of things that I don't agree with spending a lot of money on. That's kind of one of them.
You don't agree with spending
with jewelry?
Oh, yeah, but
Like
you're talking about jewelry in general,
Yeah,
watches,
watches.
but not a wedding ring.
No, I'm just talking about watches and necklaces.
What about Joe's 9 chain he got last week?
I'm thinking, to each their own.
Yeah.
You want to spend money on that? That's fine.
But
I wouldn't do it.
On an engagement ring, though, you spend.
Yeah, you have
right?
to. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, you got to happy wife, happy life.
So I was going to wonder how Katie felt about your jewelry policy over here. We'll take a break. Hunt, thanks a lot. Have a good weekend. Stay
Labor Day
safe.
weekend, long weekend. We'll see y'all next week.
Oh,
It is a long week. We'll see you next Tuesday. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, as you know, we're brought to you by Richards Honda every single day, the title sponsor of this show. You can find them online at richardshonda.com. There you can find the Warm Fuzzy Promise. What is that? Well, let me tell you real quick. You're going to get upfront, transparent internet pricing at richardshonda.com. No unwanted preloaded accessories, complimentary paint protection, superior service, and parts center, great customer care, and a complimentary free first oil change. All that is under the Warm Fuzzy Promise you can find at richardshonda.com. Go see them, though. I-12 and Millaville. That's 13413 Millaville Greens Boulevard. Over 700 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. And no matter what you need, no matter what your lifestyle calls for, they'll have something for you over at Richards Honda. Cars, hybrids, midsize, full-size SUVs, Odyssey minivan, Ridgeline truck. No matter what you need, they've got you covered. That's why it's home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7, The Tiger.
I told him I never tired yet. I told him that on the block, go here. I told him over time, I'ma claim what's mine. Now sit back and watch me fly. We here. I told him I never tired yet. I told him that on the block, go here. I told him over time, I'ma claim what is mine. Now sit back and watch me shine. We here. Mama, I told him we gon' make it, mama. I told him I be the greatest, mama. I told him we on the rise. Surprise, they realized my eyes was on the prize drop. Like Crown Vic, Beretta, he got a clip.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. The Nets have their new coach. They've hired Hall of Fame point guard Steve Nash. He has no coaching experience, but does have a strong relationship with Nets star Kevin Durant, built while working as a consultant in the Warriors organization. It is a good hire by the Nets, believes ESPN NBA analyst Richard Jefferson.
Steve Nash is an individual that knows his game very well. He has a personal relationship with Kevin Durant. I think Kyrie, I believe, knows him fairly well. There's never been a person that has ever said anything negative about Steve Nash. He has elevated everyone's game who he's ever played with because he understands the game from that standpoint.
Richard Jefferson on Greeny with Mike Greenberg. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting Brooklyn signed Nash to a 4-year contract. Scott Vaughn will remain the Nets' lead assistant. Nuggets and Clippers face off in their second-round series opener tonight, 8:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. NFL Seahawks re-signed receiver Josh Gordon. Gordon suspended indefinitely in December for violations of the PED and substance abuse policies, has applied for reinstatement. He's awaiting results from the league.
Download the DraftKings app and use code MAX to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny, hour number 3, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. You're listening up with us in Shreveport, 1130 The Tiger on CST, our YouTube page, 104.5 ESPN, or the Hanging with Hester and Hanny page for prior interviews. You can get Greg Allman, who is with The Athletic, covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We talked with him about the signing of Leonard Fournette. By the way, Bruce Arians came out today when they announced the Fournette signing and said, by the way, Rojo's still our guy.
I did see that.
Welcome to camp, Leonard. Your second string.
Yeah, right. But that was to be expected. And how much truth's into that, I don't know. But you could also say, well, you made a move for a reason. So every coach is going to say, no, this is still our guy. It's still our guy. I remember when I was in San Diego, and I kind of joke about it, when I was getting into my second contract, and they were about to make a move to sign another fullback. They're like, you're still our guy. You're still our guy, but we're going to make a move to sign this other guy, and he's going to make more money than you. Oh, I'm your guy? Come on, man. So some of that is coach speak. You have to say it. He's a young back. He's a good back. He had a good, first season. Leonard Fournette's there for a reason, though. What's that role look like? What is Leonard going to get from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Is he going to eventually be the starter? Is he going to be Latavius Murray to Jones? Is that going to be his role? But there's a reason. Again, there's a reason that he's brought in. It's not just to sit there and watch.
There's a famous story about when Herschel Walker came out of the USFL and went into the NFL and signed with the Cowboys. That Tom Landry put out a depth chart to the media the first day, and Herschel Walker was fourth string because he hadn't been there yet. Yeah. So it's like, Yeah, Herschel Walker's going to be fourth string, right?
Yeah.
I think we can safely assume that Leonard Fournette's going to get. But no, it's not that type of situation. I mean, he's not Herschel Walker in 1986, but he is going to take an awful lot of carries for Tampa Bay. Good news out of Saints camp today. Zach Bond is back on the practice field after he missed a considerable amount of time. So good to see that he is back. Earlier in the show, Jacob, we were talking about the depth of Tampa, and we said, well, doesn't every team have that? And you said, well, the Saints have got a little bit more depth, and I agree they do have depth, but that would be one of the positions where if they were to lose a body or two, that you would probably worry about, I would say, more than other places. Because you can't count on Kiko Alonso at this point at the beginning of the season.
That was going to be my first statement. Once he, becomes healthy, although that's been a very big struggle throughout his career, that's the depth there. You've already cut a veteran linebacker early in camp, and so that kind of tells you they feel good about the depth. And Craig Robertson is a guy that Saints fans will probably say, well, he's a special teams guy, but he's also played a lot of defense.
Played a lot of football.
A lot of defense in his NFL career. So you've got a couple of guys there, but again, how long can they stay healthy? Can they give me serious snaps? Although they're good players, they still got to be out there on the field. As I look at the Saints roster, I think the one position where you don't have depth is the tackle position on the offensive side of the football. You've got guards and centers. You've got enough guards and centers really to your two deep feels like it could be starters elsewhere. But at tackle, because Hurst is facing that 4-game suspension, that's probably where the New Orleans Saints are the weakest, because every other position you look around, are they better with the backup? No, there's a reason they're the backup, but they could hold their own. I mean, Winston is your backup quarterback, and you also have Taysom Hill. Latavius Murray did some nice things. You have Ty Montgomery, who's a veteran in this league, if Kamara missed any time. When you look at the receiver position, Taysom Hill's a guy that you can fill a lot of spots with. You signed Emmanuel Sanders, so you do have more depth than you've had there before. Josh Hill's a nice backup tight end to the rookie Adam Troutman as well behind Jared Cook. So you've got that. The only position that I sit here and I would fret if a starter went down for the New Orleans Saints is a tackle. And I would be really worried because they are extremely thin. No, this isn't against Derek Kelly or anybody else fighting for that backup roster spot as a tackle, but it's just not promising right now behind the starters.
I think two things there. Number one, if Andrus Peat is back, he's essentially your third tackle. So you have a little bit more depth at guard. You can bring in Nick Easton, and you can switch Peat out to tackle, especially if it's left tackle, because he's done that a number of times before. And then the other, James Hurst after 4 games.
That's 4 games.
After 4 games. So, yeah, if something were to happen now, I would be more than a little bit nervous. You'd almost be going to look for guys on the street that you would want to maybe bring in at that point. But if you get to week 4, and if Pete comes back, you're going to be fine. And by the way, guess who was back today at practice? Andrus Peat. Yep. Now, I want the big asterisk here. Shorts today.
Yeah.
They went through game situations in the Superdome starting at noon today, which was the exact time that they'll be there a week from Sunday. Again, I'm sorry, actually it's a late game. But anyway, during the day, you're going to go through all of your game situations. Sean Payton said that the decibel level in the Superdome is supposed to be about at a 70.
Yeah.
Most game days it gets up to about 120.
Yep.
So they went through. It was a walkthrough with all of the game day situations. This is the normal day that you would have had your final preseason games.
Yep.
That Thursday night where nobody. We would have.
God, I hated that Thursday night. Oh, I hate that Thursday night. When I
haven't watched the 4th preseason game. I can't tell you the last time.
If you've ever done it, that's too many.
Yeah, right. It's just something that's on in the background. This would have been the opening night of college football, real college football. I'm just remembering that now. This would have been the night.
Earlier today, and now that we're thinking about it, because in my mind I'm thinking for the Saints, who would have played quarterback in this 4th preseason game? Would it have been Taysom Hill? Would you have risked him going out there? Because earlier we were joking around. You said, has any third-string quarterback been talked about in this building more than Josh Rosen? Probably Taysom Hill.
if it would have been me, I would have probably started Jameis Winston, let him play at least a quarter, and I'd have probably let Tommy Stevens run the rest of it. Now, he's been working with the tight end, so
wearing number 85?
Yeah, you have to get him a different number. It would have been a whole different camp, though, if they would have had preseason games. If you'd have known you'd have had to do this, they would have got him somewhere.
They probably wouldn't found maybe even not Tommy Stevens. Maybe they go get just a camp body because they wanted Stevens to get those reps during training camp, during those preseason games at the position where they think he's going to help them. But Taysom Hill is very, very important. This is the guy that had just as many receiving yards as Traquan Smith a year ago.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. His rushing yards. Not in the fourth preseason game. I wouldn't have put him out there. I would have probably let Stevens take I would have prepared and practiced for that, and I would have let Stevens
run some Wildcat.
I might have run Jameis out there for one or two series, something like that, and then I would have let Stevens go the rest of the way. Man, this would have been the night. We loved this night. That first, I don't even want to look at the schedule and see who would have been playing tonight because it's just going to make me sad. Ever tell you about the time that Jimmy and I went to a place which will remain nameless, but we were going to watch the opening night of college football. We were it was the year that South Carolina played North Carolina, one of Spurrier's, not his last year, but one of his last years, and the bartender put the Saints preseason game on because he had been instructed to always have Saints games on when the Saints came on.
Yeah.
And said bartender did not understand the difference between the fourth preseason game and the opening of college football. Jimmy wore him out.
I can imagine.
I thought he was going to come across that bar.
I bet the otter
and change the TV himself. He's going to jump on the bar and do it manually if he couldn't find the remote.
I don't know what the game would have been. Typically, it feels like it's an ACC game, but the only games that I'm seeing were postponed were Rice at Houston and Jacksonville State at Florida International. And the ones we're not getting. Do you remember?
I don't. But
I feel like Clemson plays in that game.
It's like a dozen though. There were You would have had football from 5 o'clock tonight till midnight.
We'd have Pac-12 after dark.
I'm so sad.
Everybody looking at you, Ronnie Rance, would have tried to find a way that Pac-12 after dark to make up for the losses earlier in the evening.
We got South Alabama and Southern Miss, though.
Who do you like? Who do we like, guys? Who do we like? Come on.
Southern Miss.
Okay.
Of course, they are about a 2-touchdown favorite. Just under 2 touchdowns. But I do like the Golden Eagles.
I like USA.
USA. Richard Dixon, when we come back, hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Well, before you're making any property improvements, you better be making a call to 811 Louisiana. One call to keep you out of trouble. Listen, doesn't matter whether you're putting in some landscaping or a fence, whether you're finally putting in that swimming pool or adding another building on your property. If you got to dig, you got to call. Do it 2 days in advance. It's simple to do. It's free of charge, and it's the law. Because if you hit some of those underground lines, those that are buried very, very shallow beneath the surface, you could cause serious problems for yourself and your neighbors. So don't be that guy.
Why would you not take full advantage of this service? So many benefits of this service. It being extremely simple is one of them. Just call 811 before you dig. And also, once they come out, it's going to only take 2 days. They're going to come out. They're going to mark clearly exactly where you can and cannot dig. It's going to make your life so much easier. Like Hanny always says, don't be that guy that messes it up for everyone. Call 811 before you dig.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. The latest on Kamara, how the opt-outs impact LSU. Mike Detillier's got all the answers, and he joins us Thursday, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Could we not get Richard Dixon in studio today? Was he world traveler today? We can get him on the phone, though.
No, you know what? He's a businessman. He's a businessman, and he had a busy day. And when you're in sales and you're busy, that's a good thing.
So we know who's more busy, Dixon or Hunt. See, Hunt got in the studio. So
Hunt's not selling.
Richard, you're busier than Hunt.
That's what it sounds like. I mean, it sounds like I need to get hooked up with Hunt on a job search.
Yeah. Well, don't we all?
Remember, commission is tied with sales, and if he's here, that means he's not getting commission. So you're doing it the right way, Dick Dixon.
I got to make the money, man. How about we got some football tonight? I'm pretty excited.
We do have some football tonight. We were kind of lamenting what we might have had. Like BYU and Utah were supposed to play tonight, and Oregon State and Oklahoma State. But we do have South Alabama and Southern Miss. So
the Golden Eagles to the top.
You knew that was coming, Hanny.
I did know that was coming.
That's where everybody that I grew up with went to school. So I got a lot of buddies who are excited about tonight.
What is it? Okay, so tell me about what is expected there. What kind of crowd are they allowed to have? What kind of activities on campus are they allowed to have? Is it what's the protocols tonight?
I want to say there's a 20% capacity tonight. I don't think tailgating's allowed. I know a lot of guys who are already drinking beer, though. I think they're starting their own tailgate at the house. But, everybody's just excited to finally have some sense of normalcy. For those guys who grew up Southern Miss fans, went to the school, today is a great day for them. This is what they've been doing. If nothing else would have changed.
This is also going to be a decent football game, right? It's not Southern Miss versus a directional school from the FCS ranks. This is a game that you're going against a Sun Belt opponent. This is kind of where we can see, I don't want to say real football. I don't want to hate on what happened last weekend, but this is going to be probably the game that a lot of people pay attention to for the first time.
Well, there's no doubt this is a big game as far as when you're talking about those two programs. It's recruiting. They're both recruiting the Gulf Coast, the I-10 corridor down to Pensacola. They're battling for the same recruits year in and year out. And South Alabama's come a long way. I remember when I was coming out of high school, they were a club sport. They weren't an official football team. at South Alabama, and so they've worked their way up in the 10, 12 years, and now in Conference USA.
All right. One of the things we were going to talk with you about today is Eric Gilbert, who has turned every kind of head at the LSU practice facility. He came with huge credentials, Gatorade, athlete of the year, not just football player. So I know you've heard the stories. I know you've seen him. So give us your thoughts on what this guy can do, and now even more than ever important with Ja'Marr Chase leaving.
It's funny. I've gotten about 5 phone calls in the last week, and everybody wants to talk about Eric Gilbert. He's a guy that honestly, I'm getting ready to wave goodbye to every record I got left. He's such a big, phenomenal athlete, and everything that you talk about, he's a guy that can be a presence from inline blocking to where you don't have every time he comes out there, you think he's going to be a pass play. No, it's not the case. This guy comes in really physical. He's around 250 pounds, but he runs like a wide receiver. I think that there's going to be a lot of advantages that the LSU offense can take with him because you're going to have Terrace Marshall's going to get the best coverage guy. Racing McMath will probably get the second best. And then you're talking about a safety or a linebacker that's going to be matched up on a 6'5" guy who runs a 4.5, 4.4, 40, and got a lot of leap. So I think there's going to be a lot of advantages getting him out of space.
Richard, how much do you think his role changed after Ja'Marr Chase decided to opt out, right? Because now you're talking about probably more receiver-type reps for Gilbert compared to being able to maybe use him at a tight end-like position, maybe being on the move with a motion or whatever that might be. How much do you think that role changes?
I think it'll change later in the season as the season gets going. I doubt that it changed very much just during the last week with what Ja'Marr Chase did, just because you're still talking about a true freshman. And there's a lot to learn and a lot to get going because, of course, he came in early, but he didn't have a full spring. So this is like a raw freshman getting there that's getting his first reps. I think he's a guy that's got plays in the system for him, and they're going to use him, as planned to get started. But I think as he matures and feels comfortable in the offense, he's definitely going to get a lot more attention, especially that Ja'Marr Chase isn't there.
Richard Dixon is our guest. Richard, you're very familiar with Scott Linehan. One of the things that he was brought in for, one of his areas of emphasis is in the red zone. So knowing Linehan, that like you do, knowing that he's brought in to emphasize things in the red zone and knowing Gilbert's skill set, what do you think?
He's going to get a lot of balls. I know, from my time with Scott in Detroit, we had Brandon Pettigrew, Tony Scheffler, and Will Heller. They're all about 6'5", 6'6" guys who catch the football. And he ran a lot of 3 tight end sets in the red zone, but not necessarily for run purposes. He ran a lot of bunch, just getting size out there and getting them in spaces in the end zone. I think it's going to be something that he's going to be very taken well advantage of. He's going to have a lot of high point balls, and Scott's going to use them for sure in the red zone.
When I look at the other tight ends outside of Gilbert, Cole Taylor is a true freshman, but 6'7", 240 pounds. Looks like he's going to have a role on this team. And also Nick Storrs. Obviously, we know him as an LSU baseball pitcher, but this is a guy that's kind of turned some heads in training camp and, potentially could be out there on the football field. So you've got a young, inexperienced tight end room, but it seems like you've got a lot of talent in the room.
No, there's definitely a lot of talent. But like I said, and you're talking about Nick Storrs, who hasn't played since high school. You got 2 other true freshmen. I think Eric Gilbert definitely, just with his skill set, has got the biggest advantage. But, LSU's wide receiver room is so deep, and we're talking about guys that's not even getting mentioned. You got the freshmen there, but I'm really excited to see Trey Palmer, some of the other guys that have big play potential, and now they're going to get the opportunity to be on the field more often. There's so many weapons on that team. Of course, you're going to miss an elite talent like Ja'Marr Chase. But I'm excited to see some of these other guys that we know are good. They're going to get the opportunity to get on the field.
Richard, every day Hester talks about how sad he is that when you guys were playing, he couldn't go through an entire August camp, get all the way to September, and then start it all over again, which is basically what they're doing here. So if you think about back to training and how you felt when you ought to be 48 hours to the opener. That's really where we ought to be right now, except we're not 48 hours to the opener. We're over 3 weeks to the opener, about how you might deal with that mentally.
I can't imagine to go through what these guys have been able to do, especially, the way things were stopped and stalled and then started and then stalled again, because it's a mental preparation the whole way through to get through that grind of fall camp and then to definitely get it extended an additional fall camp. I don't know how. I'm sure that they've talked about it. They've game planned on it, just, the way as far as taking breaks in practice and, getting everybody's mindset started. But I'm right there with Hester. You were so ready to get through a camp. You'd have been moved back into your house or your dorm already. You wouldn't have been stuck in WCA living with 4 buddies who were all complaining. It's tough. I can't imagine how they're doing it, but I know that, they're going to watch some football tonight, seeing some of the other teams start to play, and they're going to start to realize that it's coming.
Obviously, Richard, we want to have you on to talk tight ends today, but you cover this team. I mean, you jump on with us all the time, so you know the roster. Tyler Shelvin not going to be with the team. He opts out. How do you think that affects what they're trying to do in Bo Pelini's defense?
He was the one that was the biggest question, just because he was more of a 3-4 guy and knows that wanted to plug up space. And I'm sure that they could have got his weight down and he could have been able to attack. But I think if you take a look at some of the young guys they've recruited and some of the defensive ends they've had on the roster right now, they're going to make a fit for the true 4-3. And I don't know if that played a part in Shelvin's decision. He was projected as a first rounder, early on coming out for preseason. And him knowing that he's going to play a position where he's really out of position and needs to lose some weight, I don't think it affects it as far as what Bo Pelini wants to do.
Richard Dixon is our guest. Richard, it always comes back to the quarterback. So for Miles Brennan, it has to have been an even longer offseason. I know that, he's been isolated. He's on the Joe Burrow program as far as school and living quarters and schedule and things like that. So how does he, I guess, seize control of this team in these type of situations where a lot of times he has to be isolated?
He's got to do it every day in practice. When he's out there, he's got to be a vocal leader. He's got to be the first one in the weight room. He's got to be the guy that's the first one out to practice. He has to be the guy that, is pushing everybody. He's got to take that next step. And I've seen a few clips. It seems like he's definitely been more vocal. But, I think that he's probably as excited as anybody. He's got to get ready. He's finally got his shot, and I think he's going to make the most out of it.
All right, I want to talk one more question about the defense before we let you go. Also, it's been a while since we caught up with you because you're slinging so much, product over there in that sales job. But Kerry Vincent also opted out, and we long talked about the different guys that could play the nickel position. Cordell Flott's a guy that we assume is going to be Flott in the slot, print the shirts. How do you think that room changed with Kerry Vincent opting out?
Kerry Vincent came along late in the season last year and played really well. But you also got to remember back early in the season where he caused a lot of big plays for the team. I think that Cordell Flott is the guy that's come along. Ward is another guy I'm excited to see. And that's Ray John, the guy from North Mississippi. I think he's a guy that everybody's excited about seeing. I think there's a lot of depth there. I don't think that you're going to miss, of course you want a veteran like Kerry, but I don't think it's going to be a big step down. When you talk about the guys who've opted out, the ones that I think affect you the most are no doubt Jamar Chase and Neil Farrell are the two that, kind of hurt me. But everywhere else I can see where you can slide somebody in and there's a better fit for them.
Richard, we appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you soon. You've been working Football Fridays with us for a while. Oh, tomorrow would have been Football Friday. You would have been in with us tomorrow.
It was with us too.
Yeah,
so he was like double duty.
So take tomorrow, and you go to your real job. But in a few weeks, we'll have you back.
I can't wait, man. Look forward to it.
Thanks a lot, Richard Dixon.
Of course, he was talking about Radarius Jones from Horn Lake, Mississippi. Long, 6'2". Probably around 185 pounds right now. So he's getting some buzz in camp. But Jay Ward's the name that I've heard the most from a lot of people around the program. This is a guy that has stepped his game up to the next level. In fact, once Kerry Vincent left the program, he switched his number to number 5. He took the actual jersey that Kerry Vincent left behind. He's a sophomore from the state of Georgia. Again, Cordell Flott got the opportunity last year during training camp when you had Christian Fulton out with an injury, but Jay Ward was also right there. And everything that I've heard is this is a guy to pay attention to. He will be a guy that's in the rotation as far as defensive backs.
We'll take a break, come back on the other side, hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
If you're looking for a job, or you're looking for a career, our friends at Associated Grocers right now are hiring at multiple positions throughout the company, and it would be a career. The tractor-trailer driver opportunities are phenomenal. Let me give you a few examples of why you would want to work for them. Number one, your home nights. Man, for a lot of guys, you can just stop right there. Guaranteed 40 hours a week with the potential for overtime, clean vehicles, clean trailers. When they call you out on a day off, pay time and a half. They call you out on a second day off, paying double time. Benefits after 90 days of employment. Great starting pay for local drivers, and 6 months experience is necessary to apply.
That's not the only thing they have available. They have over 15 career opportunities right now over at Associated Grocers. Take full advantage of the website. Set up for success. Go to agbr.com. Click on careers. It's going to show you everything they have available. You can also see testimonials of people who have worked for them, and they can back up what we're saying here every single day. Go to that website again, agbr.com/careers.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Hi, this is Chance Inman, President and Chief Operating Officer for Janney King Gulf Coast. Here are some ways to protect yourself and those around you from the coronavirus. Wash your hands often and thoroughly. Cover coughs and sneezes with your elbow. Disinfect high-touch surfaces regularly. Use non-contact methods for greeting others. And avoid touching your face. Following these steps, as well as social distancing, should help all of us stay healthy.
Janney King, the king of clean.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to a superstore. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to LA Contract Safe.
Tune in to a Thursday edition of Game Time, live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz break down the latest lines from baseball, the NBA playoffs, and college football. Tune in from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We ready for war. Tell them that's what we ready for. War. Bringing that to competitors. Do we see the confetti fall? Be ready for.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Speaking of warm and fuzzy, did they finally listen to us and get the temperature right in this room?
It's still not the warmest room.
No, but I mean, compared to the other days this week, I think they've done a real good job. I think Playboy Marty got on him. He had to come in here like Nanica of the North one day, and he still was cold. So I think maybe they listened to him.
How do they listen to the guy named Playboy, but not us?
It's a reasonable question. We told you earlier that the Saints have gone through their paces in the Superdome today, kind of simulating game situations, although not in pads. One of the guys that's out there is Andrus Peat, and though he's not in pads, he was participating in the workout today. One of the big buzzes around Saints camp has been how much weight Pete has lost, and he talked a little bit about how he went about getting his weight down.
It really wasn't a diet change. I just really I started training like right after the last game. So obviously I missed some time during the season and came back for the last game and a half. So I felt pretty fresh overall. Besides my arm that I had surgery on, but I'd probably just say just hitting it pretty hard right after not really taking a break and just getting straight to it, and just diet-wise just trying to make good decisions, but nothing like spectacular.
I never thought of him as a guy that was overweight. Maybe I didn't pay as much attention to the Saints' interior offensive line as I should have last year, because they were so fed up with Larry Warford that they just basically cut him, and he's pseudo-retired right now.
Yeah.
But I never thought of Pete as a guy that was overweight. He's 6'7", first of all, which is tall for a guard. And he always looked like he was in decent shape to me. But he's listed at 315 on the Saints roster right now. Every reporter that's going out there that's looking is like, wow, you look at him and he has really dropped some weight. So they haven't given us an update. So I don't know what he weighs right now, but I never thought of him as a guy.
I never did either. And it's a little surprising that was a point of emphasis for him, because he is playing guard now. Now, if he was switching and he was a guard that was moving to tackle, sometimes you'll see those guys try to drop weight to be a little bit quicker on their feet. But when you're playing guard in the NFL, a lot of times they want you a little bit bulkier. So I'm a little bit surprised, but maybe it's something where he felt like he was not at his best. The Saints still do run a little old school power at times and pull the guard and do all those different type of things that a lot of NFL teams don't do. But I'm a little surprised that was something that he felt like he needed to do.
And he talked about improving his conditioning.
Yeah, definitely. I really try to put an emphasis on that this offseason, really starting off with just the weight room and conditioning. So I feel like it's definitely going to be beneficial, just being able to, finish blocks and sustain and, feel more athletic and feel better out there. So it's definitely going to be good.
And I never felt like he wasn't the most athletic guy. I felt like he could get out and make his blocks. For me, the conditioning thing was more about him staying healthy. And he's had injury problems, and it hasn't all. There were never things that I thought, for the most part, not all, but for the most part, I never thought it was things that were a result of his conditioning. Like this injury that he's been out for, I think it's going on 4 weeks now, it's to his thumb. You know, it's not one of those ones where, you're out of shape, so you pulled a muscle or you strained a groin or whatever. I mean, he broke his thumb or jammed his thumb or whatever he did.
It surprised me they kept him out this long. And I'm not sitting here questioning Pete's toughness, but typically when an offensive lineman does something like that, it's put in a cast, it's wrapped up, and you continue to go. And I realize how important your hands are as an offensive lineman, but just in my experience, that's something where, you might have missed 2 weeks. God, even that feels like a long time. Maybe a week to let the swelling go down, but then after that, you set it, you put it in the cast, and you move along. That's a lot of time to miss for a player that just got a big payday, and he is not a question mark necessarily on your offensive line, but he's a key piece because, as you mentioned earlier, it's a great point. Yeah, he's a guard, but he can also kick out the tackle where you don't have a lot of depth, especially in those first games. And so I'm surprised how long this has kept him out. I don't know if he's ready. Beginning of the season is going to be extremely difficult for him.
The tackle thing to me is why they kept him, because there was a lot of talk that they would not, that they were going to have to sacrifice somewhere on the roster. They were going to have to let somebody go. And who was it going to be? Who were they going to choose not to sign? A lot of people thought it would be him, and I was actually one of them. I said, they're not going to invest in guard. But they did, and I think in large part they did that because they knew he essentially plays three positions, really even four. Now, they like to keep him on the left side because he works better out of that stance, but I think in a pinch he could slide over and play on the right side if he absolutely had to. I'm not as worried about him I think that he's a vet. He's into the second contract now. He's been a starter pretty much since the day he got there. He's played multiple positions. He's played most of the time at a high level, not all of the time at a high level, but most of the time. He had a rough day against the Vikings, okay? I should say the Saints line.
The Saints line had a very rough day. For me, I felt like it was a lot of money to a player where you had other people who could step up and give you pretty close to the same production already on your roster. When Nick Easton was inserted into the lineup, I didn't feel like there was a gigantic drop-off. And so my thought was Easton, because he's making a decent salary as well, you move him into that position. You have backups like a Will Clapp, like a Cameron Tom that are already in place, and you could spend that money elsewhere. That's why the move, and not even really anything against the player. Do I think they overpaid a little bit? I do. But just because you already had guys on your roster that aren't big drop-offs, and you had backups as well that move into a good backup role that can give you snaps if they had to because of an injury. We've already seen Will Clapp in his career have to do that. That's what surprised me so much about that move, because that money was given to somewhere where I didn't feel like it had to be given.
And I think that if over the last 4 years, Terron Armstead had played in 64 games, I don't think that he would have. Somebody knocking on our door? Did somebody just come down here and knock on the door?
Probably Moscona. He always complains about how long it takes us to get out of the studio. I don't know if you know this, Matthew, but there's nothing we can do until 2:55:48.
Did somebody just knock on a door in the middle of the segment?
I think it was.
Is there not a big screen outside?
There's also a big red light that says live right above the door.
I'm sorry, we're busy right now. Where was I?
Yeah, Andrew Pete.
Yeah,
he's tired of us talking bad about him.
If Terron Armstead had played in 64 games the last 4 years, then you say, well, okay, then you don't have to worry about investing in a guy that's got the versatility to play start at guard and be your number one backup tackle. But Armstead missed 1 game last year. He missed 5 the year before that, 5 the year before that, and 9 the year before that. If you have to slide that guy out that many times, if you've got to go, and this is the left tackle position,
right.
Okay? If you've got to go to the back of the time, that guy better be able to play. And they know that Pete can do that. So to me, that's where it was. Now, having said that, if they would have known that the cap was not going to go up next year, they may have thought differently. If they didn't, and who could have predicted a pandemic, but if they would have known that the cap was going to stay flat or go down, maybe they invest the money somewhere else. Because as it is now, they're debating back and forth somewhere between 12 and 14 to 15 million dollars on Alvin Kamara, and everybody knows that Ramczyk and Lattimore out there, they have to be signed next year. And not signing Ryan Ramczyk is a complete non-starter, and I feel pretty close to the same way about Lattimore.
You're going to get the gigantic quarterback salary probably off the books, so you're going to have some money free there. We all assume that Drew,
no, I do think he's going to retire, but I think you're still going to take a cap hit next year because of the way
it's structured. Yeah. So the Saints, more than any team I know, can find a way to get their salary cap in the right spot. I don't know how they do it sometimes. Sometimes it's magic, but they find a way to do it. But
the way the Saints have done it, I would use this analogy. The Saints are the guy that has paid the minimum balance on his credit card and then remaxed it out every month for the last 10 years. And this is the day, if the cap does go down, this is the day that the credit card comes up and company comes to you and says, we want the whole balance.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, that's exactly what the way I would describe it to you.
Yeah. That's a pretty good way.
They have
got the debt collectors. That's who's knocking on the door. The debt collector.
Ask us when we come back. This is Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Hey, listen, you don't have to max out every credit card if your bills are a little bit lower. See what I did there? Nice segue, right? You get lower interest rates right now than you have ever gotten before. Let a qualified counselor from GMFSmortgage.com help you out. The long-term benefits are obvious. You're going to pay less for your home. Short-term benefits, the ability to skip a mortgage payment or two in case you need a swing tackle, and you you will be able to free up some cash here as you mitigate through phase 2. Construction loans, no problem. In the market for a new home, no problem. Talk to a qualified counselor there. You'll answer a few questions, and then you can set out all of your goals. Easily obtained by your counselor there to get you to a yes. See what I did there? Using all of my catchphrases today. Do what I did, do what thousands of others have done. GMFSmortgage.com. They're talking about changing lives because they're changing your monthly budget for the better. So start that journey today at GMFSmortgage.com.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a test result. This is a prescription refill. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare. Start your virtual visit today at Auctioner Health.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Coming up on Fridays Off the Bench, we get you ready for the college football weekend, preview the Saints' final roster, Hunt Palmer and Cole Kublik drop in, and a new Casual Friday tier list. Best appetizers. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Final segment here today of the show. Ask us in the Bayou Ford chat. Let's see where we're going to start here today. Ask us, where did you propose to your wife?
I was in front of War Memorial Stadium in Little Rock, Arkansas, after we beat a top 5 Arkansas team in 2006.
Nice. Okay. I did it at our home. That was not something that I wanted to share with anybody else, so I did it. I proposed at
that would be a big never
home.
for me. So
no, Paul, you sharing?
I did mine at the New Orleans Zoo. That's her favorite spot.
In front of the Tigers, like Rocky?
Yeah. God, you stole it,
They
Hanny.
have a big elephant fountain in the middle, in the front. It was right in front of that.
Oh, Roll Tide? You did in front of the elephants?
No, I didn't think of it that way.
Turn his mic off.
Playboy Marty, where are you going to propose to your wife when you get ready to get married?
Somewhere in Phoenix.
I don't know. I honestly have not even gotten near that realm to where I've thought about it. So
All right. Ask us, Jake, did you pull the trigger and buy the Central Arkansas mini helmet?
I have not. I hadn't done it yet. So BB inside of the chat here told me not to do it. Brian Burgess, one of our loyal listeners, told me not to do it. So he kind of put that thought in my head. And maybe I'm thinking I can find it cheaper now. I don't know.
Ask us, onions or no onions on your burger?
Oh, onions. Onions.
Absolutely.
Sign me up.
Grilled onions, grilled stringy onions for sure.
Now you're thinking. Yeah, that's
onions for sure.
Yeah, nobody doesn't.
Everybody likes onions. Okay.
Ask us, filet or ribeye?
Filet.
I flip a coin. I'm good either way.
Give it to me. Yeah, I mean,
just get me to a steak.
Whisper heat to
like
it and put it on a plate.
Bone-in ribeye though, can't beat that. Bone-in ribeye.
I don't know, man. You get a good fillet.
I'm
You can just eat the whole
indifferent.
thing.
If you're gonna put a steak in front of me, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm team ribeye.
Team ribeye.
Yeah.
Paul.
Either one's fine with me.
Yeah, it's steak. I mean, red-blooded American. Sign me up.
Ask Hanny, have you trademarked "Get Me to a Yes" yet? I really probably should. Can we sell some shirts? Can we sell some hats?
I've already got Flott in the slot.
I'm gonna have to
print some more.
I'm gonna have to cut Woodward a check though because I stole it from him.
Technically, if he didn't, trademark it,
right,
you don't have to give him
that's
anything.
true.
I'm just saying.
Let's see. Ask us, why is everybody getting hit with opt-outs instead of Alabama?
It's
a good question.
It's a very good question.
I wish I had a better answer for you.
You said it. We've said it. They have had a long run of being able to talk guys who are going to be draft picks into coming back.
Saban is handled this like he handles everything else. I mean, the guy's out in front of it. He's sharp. He's gonna be one step ahead of just about everybody. It's always been that way.
And maybe it's not in the player's best interest every time. I'll be honest with you, but he gets them to do it, and that's all he cares about.
The chat says take your time, Marty.
I got married at 22, man. I'm good. Been married 13 years.
Spin the question wheel.
Yes, this is a great one. If you were in witness protection program, what would your new name be, and where would you go? This is a good one.
Okay. Let's see. I would be. My name would be Taylor Rusk, and I would move to Northern Arizona.
Northern Arizona.
Taylor Rusk is the name of a character from one of my favorite books. Peter Gant wrote North Dallas 40, also wrote a book called The Franchise, and the character was Taylor Rusk. And I just thought it was a really cool name.
All right, let's see. That's a really good one. I've always been a fan of Benny the Jet Rodriguez, so let's go. I'll go double J. I'll be Jet Johnson, and I'm going to live up in Northwest Oregon.
Northwest, cold up there, man.
Yeah, it's fine.
Where you moving, Josh?
I'm moving to the UP of Michigan.
Okay, what's your name going to be?
Jimmy Daniel.
Okay, Jimmy Daniel. I like it.
I grew up with a Jimmy Daniel.
I'm going to be Charlo Jones, and I'm moving to Tucson, Arizona.
Of course.
Wait, Charlo Jones. Obviously, you're in witness protection, and you're going to go in a place where you kind of know people?
I don't know anyone there. I never lived there.
I mean, it's close to Phoenix, though.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let me guess. Paul O'Neill.
He's going to be Paul O'Neill.
Yeah. or Tino Martinez.
I could go
Jimmy
Paul O'Neill
Leyritz.
and just move up to New York.
Just change the spelling.
Yeah.
Just like go from NEIL to NEAL or something like
I'll do that.
And move to like what? You're going to make a big move out of Baton Rouge, right? Like to Denham Springs.
So Paul O'Neill's witness protection name is going to be his name with a different spelling.
Yeah.
That is so on brand
That's
for you.
Paul O'Neill, all right.
Yeah.
What's the next question generator?
All right, let's go. Ooh, who is your first celebrity crush?
Ooh, Kelly from Saved by the Bell.
Kelly Kapowski.
Yep.
Mine too. Same thing.
Baby Spice.
Okay, Baby Spice. There you go. Paul? He looks like he's nervous to answer this one. Look at Paul.
Your wife's not
is my
listening.
wife listening? Look, everybody's allowed to have a crush on Kelly Kapowski. Although you're a little bit younger than me.
I don't know.
Celebrity crush.
Everybody
and
remembers
Paul
it.
O'Neill doesn't remember the first one?
All right. Mine was a Kelly also, but I'm a lot older than Josh Ward. Kelly Garrett, Jacqueline Smith from Charlie's Angels.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another great question. I love this random generator here.
You didn't answer. Oh,
you were Kelly Kapowski.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was
copying Josh Ward.
Well,
Okay,
it wasn't no copy. If you grew up at, how old are you, Josh?
34.
I'm 35. See, if you grew up in our era, that's who your first crush was.
Every morning.
TV show you secretly enjoy. So this isn't a secret. If you've ever listened to my show, I like Dawson's Creek. Dawson's Creek is mine and Matt Flynn's stories. We used to watch them, me, him, and Kyle Williams. We watched reruns on TBS when we were all at LSU together. But if I had to say one that people don't know, my wife just mowed through Vampire Diaries, and I was along for the ride with her. I'll be honest with you.
So Golden Girls for me.
Oh, Golden Girls is fantastic.
Every night.
I watch Golden Girls on the regular.
Yep.
Giant Bachelor fan. Watch every Monday.
Oh,
October,
I've had that show
October 13th.
I've
we have
had
a date.
that show at my house, and I don't even like
That's
it.
points off for that.
Yeah.
It's pure comedy.
I'm a Big Brother fan.
But yeah, but that's not like a secretly though. I mean, Big Brother's kind of.
My wife
right?
set the clock by it. She's not missing Big Brother. I like Pawn Stars. I could sit there and watch episodes of Pawn Stars one after the other. Always been one of my favorites.
Oh, we still got time for one more.
Well, all right.
We can't go to the peanut gallery, but we can do this one.
Go ahead.
Last person you argued with.
I mean, Gordy's not here today. Probably my son-in-law.
Your son-in-law?
At a poker game. Because he thinks he's better than me, and he's just so wrong.
Who cheated?
Nobody cheated. It was more of a
last person.
More of a kind of a stick out your chest.
Last
kind of
person
thing.
to argue with. I don't know. When Moscona comes through the door, I'll yell at him. It'll be Moscona.
Yeah. Okay.
These were good
that's
today.
it. That's the end of the show.
That's
All right.
That's it.
For Josh Ward, for Playboy Morning, for Paul O'Neill and Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for AFR 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large